What's up, everybody, and welcome to a very special stream right here today on SIFTD Games. We got a dual stream going for you guys today. We got GameFace episode 465, which is going to be a great episode of GameFace. And then after that, we are doing our SIFTD Video Game League Fantasy Draft for 2026. And of course, alongside me to do that is the incomparable Matt Keil. How's it going, Matt? Feeling good about the draft?
I thought you were you meant special because everything worked.
All right. That's true. After last week, that is special. Everything as of right now appears to be working the way it's supposed to. So we got you guys. I'm just going to pop you in here right now. We got, of course, YouTube always shows up late when we start our streams, but we got both you guys in our stream today. Everything should be good. Like I said, we are doing a dual stream today. So the first part of the stream, first hour and a half, 2 hours, is going to be an episode of GameFace. Things are a little slow right now, to be fair, so it's kind of working out well.
I don't know. I've played. I'm not kidding. I played 50 hours of that Star Wars Starfield mod.
Oh, you did?
It's still Starfield. It's
Yeah.
all the same quest with rewritten dialogue and so. But there is something more compelling about playing that game with Star Wars blasters, music, sound effects, ships, and all that. Like there is something, even in its kind of work in progress state. Last night I tried to do like clear out this thing, and this one guy would not die. Like he wasn't taking damage. I'm like, oh, is it glitched? Is something wrong?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, he's taking a little bit. So it took like 10 minutes to kill this guy, just like unloading my strongest weapons. And I'm like, what the hell was going on? Because the game, the mod, come on.
Oh, she's crying.
Because the mod is it's all armor driven. So like your health is like your damage resistance is entirely armor. If you better armor you have, more hits you can take. Period. It's not like the vanilla game.
Yeah.
And I finally killed him, and I went and looked. He was wearing a full set of pure Beskar armor.
Wow.
That was worth 400,000 credits.
Did you get it?
Oh yeah, I picked it.
Nice.
I picked that shit up.
Score.
It's too heavy for me. It weighs 60 pounds,
Wow.
so I'm not using it.
Yeah.
But and it's actually not as good as the Dark Trooper armor I'm wearing.
Oh, really?
But its resistance to blaster fire is basically flawless.
Could come in handy.
And so I was like, oh, I thought it was a glitch, but that's actually more accurate. Well done.
I can vouch for Matt after last week's show, which the stream was a complete disaster. So thanks to everybody who stuck around for the live show last week. I know it was a mess. It's definitely much better this week. But after the show was over, I went and checked out this Star Wars mod for Starfield that Matt is playing, and it is incredible. It is really insane what modders are doing now.
Yeah, well, this is by one guy who basically made a mod list of a bunch of existing mods and did his own stuff. So it's very interesting because it makes it very hard to C&D because it's like 300 different people making the mods.
Yeah.
And so he just basically curates it and kind of makes sure it all works together and made an installer and stuff. And like, it's very interesting. And like,
it's crazy.
It's very interesting. Like if you read like the site about it, where it's like it's an alternate. It's not normal Star Wars canon. It's a different version of Star Wars. It kind of mashes prequels and original together.
Fair enough.
Like the timeline's a little different. The Emperor like disappeared, and so there's like
they've set up their own canon.
Yeah, it's their own canon. Anakin Skywalker was never discovered. Darth Vader doesn't exist. Like it's a very different
bold
world.
Choices there.
Because you can't have mythic heroes interrupting the fairly boring Starfield story, basically. So you're collecting Force artifacts instead, and the aliens show up near the end of Starfield that are the ancient aliens that are kind of as a whole thing.
Yeah.
So in this one, I haven't gotten to it yet, but apparently when you get to that one, the Yuuzhan Vong are the bad guys. Those are the bad guys from the old EU novels that were terrible, but like they were like from the outside the galaxy, and they were not affected by the Force. So it kind of like ruined everything.
Yeah.
But there's like KOTOR stuff in there. So there's two interesting things this guy's doing. First, he claims that to avoid the C&D on the music, he didn't use any John Williams stuff. He only used tracks from Star Wars video games through the years, and he cleared them with Lucasfilm for a fan, because Lucasfilm is pretty open to fan projects if you're not charging for them.
Wow, that's cool. Well, that's what everybody's doing. Everyone's cool with you unless you charge for it.
Yeah, don't charge for it. But that's always been the rule for a Lucasfilm. It's like as long as you're not making any money off it, we don't care what you do. But we do own anything you do.
Yeah.
So it's we'll never know.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is like he is so all the dialogue's been rewritten and at the very least they've revoiced like a bunch of the characters. So instead of saying like Aquila City, they say like Dantu Town or Dantooine, or now New Atlantis is Imperial Center,
and they've redecorated these areas.
They're all very the main quest stuff is all redone. Yeah, and so some of it's revoiced by voice actors, and some of it is revoiced with like a voice bank he licensed like computer voices from, which I guess now you'd call AI, Jim. But back in the day was just 3 years ago it would have just been an evolution of the talking moose, right?
And now it's AI.
And so he put a thing up. He's like this was not using any existing voice actors. It's not replicating anyone like that. But if you are a voice actor in Starfield and you don't like what I've done to replace your voice, tell me and I will change the character's name and appearance and everything so it has nothing to do with you ever.
Cool.
And all that. So he's very transparent about all that stuff, but I appreciated that. He is a little snarky about some like the game's difficult because you start with 200 health and you can only get higher by adding armor. You don't there aren't really any other bonuses that work. You just have to wear better clothes, right?
Yeah.
So early on you take 1 or 2 hits because the blasters are deadly. Like they are, like you can kill you. That's why I was so surprised that guy was taking so many hits, because normally people go down in 3 shots.
Yeah.
Which is correct. Your blasters are strong, and so you start with 200 health, but he lists a bunch of cheats like to put in to give yourself more health if it's too hard. So normal's 200 and hard's 1, and it goes up to like the easiest difficulty is like 4,000 health, and he lists that as game journalist. So I'm like, all right, you're a little bit of a dick, but
that's funny.
Okay, yeah. I mean, at least
when he says that, he really means one person.
He means one. I was gonna say he's thinking of one game journalist
which
in particular.
Really sucks, man. That he's kind of been cordoned into that, but
true. On the other hand, that
Fair.
was real dumb.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, it does suck though that we've all been pigeonholed into that.
I certainly see both sides of that one,
yeah.
And I will admit, one of the things that shocked me when I first started reviewing games and working in that space
how bad
was how
journalists
bad
are.
they all are. I remember going to a Virtua Fighter 4 release thing, and I was so excited because I was like, finally I'll get to play people who are good at I was the only one who knew how to play the game who wasn't from Sega, and I ended up just playing against Sega developers the whole night because they were so happy that someone was interested in playing the game instead of just drinking the free drinks.
Me and Abby Heppy used to go
this is how this goes. Okay.
Me and Abby Heppy, who used to work at G4 with us, we used to go to the Call of Duty review events, and we would just murk everybody. Like she and I would sit side by side in every match. We were either she or I was the top scorer in every freaking match.
Before she used to go, I did 4 and I did Modern Warfare 2, the event where they took us to a hotel. And I remember because the ones I'd done before that for Infinity Ward were at their office. I just went to their office and I played with them there and I did all that.
Yeah.
And then I remember being at the hotel and we were there for like 3 days and like each day was different. And I remember coming down and Vince was just like, this is different than the last time we did it, isn't it? I'm just like, yeah, I kind of miss like having lunch with like 4 people. It's like, yeah, but like I don't know, price is success, right? And
yeah.
But like I remember, I was always like in the top 3 on all the. There was one guy from EGM who was like
Dan Shu was pretty good.
It wasn't Shu. I knew Shu, but it was a guy I'd never met before. But he was like usually the number 1 guy in that.
After a while, you start to figure out who the people are who are actually good players. And you're right. There's like out of like 50 people, there were like 7.
There's like 3 or 4 usually that are.
And like 3 or 4 really good players at everything. But yeah, it's not what you think, but it's. Still
That's why we started sending Abby, because she was our best Call of Duty player.
She was good. Yep, no doubt. Well, welcome to GameFace 465. As I said, this is just the beginning. We're going to do an episode of GameFace that's going to be a little bit shorter than usual. And then we're going to kick into our SIFTD Video Game Fantasy League draft for 2026. This is where the Video Game Fantasy Draft started. We did the first ever Video Game Fantasy Draft, and now everybody does it. It's actually cool, man. I've gone through different phases with this, where like at first I was like, wow, other people are doing it, that's awesome. Then everybody did it, and I was like, no one's sharing that we started that sucks. And now I've come back around to the point of like, I don't care. It's still cool to see everybody doing it. Yeah. It has turned into like a free episode or a pre-planned episode for pretty much every gaming podcast now at the beginning of the year. And I am very flattered by that. It is pretty crazy how it's taken off. Somebody started a whole website for it. They're getting rich off of it now. Like,
yeah,
it's funny how just one little idea can just change stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I mean, there's There are two shows that are hello, come on.
What you doing?
There are two shows that are running online now that they're not too. There's not many, but there's two that I'm just like, I'm still pissed I didn't come up with them at G4 because they're like things and one of them is Hot Ones.
Yeah,
which is brilliant.
I think we maybe pitched stuff like that.
We definitely did. Yeah. And the other one is Actually, which people are probably not.
What's that
that's
one?
on Dropout, which is mostly famous for Dimension 20 and Brendan Lee Mulligan, like the D&D like live play stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they have a show on there called Actually, which is like a fake game show. It's like you know the shows where like it's like comedians come on and they're not really playing to win anything, but it's like done like a game show.
Yeah.
It's like that, like Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah,
it's like that. But what it is
What's up, girl?
They read the questions. They read a statement about a nerd-related property, and there's one thing in it that's wrong, and you have to pick out what's wrong, and you have to start your answer with actually, or you don't get the point.
Interesting.
And I'm like, because if there's one, as they say at the beginning, if there's one thing nerds love more than nerd stuff, it's correcting people. And I'm like, I will forever be furious at myself for not thinking of that when I was working at a TV station that desperately needed some kind of viral game show.
Something.
We tried to come up with a game show at G4 for years, and none of it got past the
meeting stage.
No, we shot some test pilot stuff for like these weird obstacle course things. That's one of the reasons Ninja Warrior was picked up, was because it was basically, this is the thing.
They did it already.
Yeah, I'm like, well, yeah, because you didn't give us like $1 million to build an obstacle course in the fucking quarry. Like, yeah, of course not.
Yeah.
But like that, I think that like a Jeopardy for nerds. Like I was like, that's what we should is like, and they would never go for it because like, no, Jeopardy's boring. I'm like, Jeopardy's been on longer than I've been alive. Like clearly. I mean, you pair it with something stupid. So for a while, that was what we were trying to come up with, a Wheel of Fortune to pair with an equivalent of like a serious quiz show about nerd stuff. Yeah. And it just never materialized. Yeah. Because it turns out making game shows is expensive.
It is, yeah. And if you want audience and everything, that's
they
a whole
desperately
other...
wanted audience.
Yeah.
I mean, for the last several years of X-Play, we had a paid audience in the room.
Yeah,
like that showed up every morning. Like we had like it was like a group of like 9 or 10 people. They were all the same people. Like we knew them all. Like, by the end of the day, and they all like they were there because they were like
fans.
Well, no, they were just paid. Extra. They were just extras.
Oh, wow.
And they were like from a service and like. Every show, for almost every show does this if you're not like internationally known. And like the thing was like for a long time we had like it was kind of okay and at some point one of the line producers like called up and says like it's like yeah, and it's like and anyone that's like good at cheering or like sounding like more than one person or something would be good. And the person at the agency was like, oh you want cheerers? You want applause people? He's like, that's a thing I can. He's like, oh, absolutely. So then they started sending like specifically people who were like
known for cheering,
good at cheering and applauding and being audience people. And the difference was night and like it sounded like there were like 30 people there.
You're working with the pros.
Unbelievable difference.
Well, to be fair, Easy Allies and Kinda Funny, like the first couple years they did it, like Easy Allies credited me specifically, and Kinda Funny was like, there's that Shane guy who used to work over at Game Trailers. I think he may have started this for... Like, they tried.
Yeah.
And that's good enough.
Many years ago. 1,000 years ago? Not that many years ago. It's like,
everybody else doesn't even try to figure out where it came from. They're just like, this is the thing now, and everybody's doing it. So
well, the credit is not... really good. I mean, we of all people should be ready for that just because all video content about video games kind of stems back tone-wise to X-Play now.
And you don't get credit for that.
No one even knows what... All that X-Play ever gets mentioned for is that they used to be racist.
Yeah.
Like...
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. There's some... That's the thing, is like, there are some things we did that if you pull that, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty bad.
Really?
But they never pull that stuff up. It's always stuff that they just didn't understand the joke.
That's funny.
The thing that comes up all the time is like this thing where Morgan does a rant about like Japan and like there's a whole thing about after how they became.
Oh, I remember that now.
But it's like, it's for one thing, I know who wrote that, and it's like if you knew who wrote that, you would be very realize what was going on. Yeah. But also it's like if you don't realize that speech is using an exaggerated form of the implied rhetoric and values surrounding the 20th century foreign policy of America to satirize the 20th century foreign policy of America, I don't know how to have this conversation with you. Like we don't actually think that. And it is a shame 15 years later to have to break character and explain that.
Yeah.
But it feels like everyone's having a very tedious exchange of text messages and tweets about it every like 6 months
Yeah.
or so. And like, so it's just like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you on that one, boys. Also, some of the British people may recognize who I stole part of that little monologue from just now.
Yeah.
And if you did, props.
Yep. Fair enough. So just a couple things in housekeeping before we get into the show proper. The first thing is that there was supposed to be a Life is Strange thing happening tomorrow where they debuted the brand new Life is Strange game.
I remember hearing about
And
that.
instead, like, the thing leaked this morning and the trailer went... So Square Enix just put the trailer out. And we're going to talk about that. I managed to grab the trailer. I had to turn around and go back in, render the trailer, get it back onto my portable drive and bring it. But we got it here, so we're going to talk about it. So anyway, that's supposed to happen tomorrow. It ended up happening today, although I think they'll probably still do the presentation tomorrow where they explain everything.
I mean, if they've paid to edit it. So
yeah, they put out the trailer, and we'll talk about that. And then also on Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, it is the big Xbox Direct, the first one for 2026. It's going to be Fable, Forza Horizon 6, and Beast of Reincarnation, which is Game Freak's new RPG, which actually looks kind of awesome. A non-Pokemon game from Game Freak, which actually looks pretty good. So anyway, that's...
Which is like... So you can do graphics.
Right.
Like what?
Where's
what
the
is going
disconnect?
on?
I know, it's weird. And that's tomorrow again, or I'm sorry, Thursday at 10 and 1 o'clock. So anyway, some big stuff coming from Xbox here, and a lot of the stuff is going to be in this. We're going to talk about in today's show anyway. So we're going to give you a nice little preview of the stuff that's going to be in the Xbox Direct. And again, that's Thursday at 10 Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And I think that's just about it. We're ready to get into the show proper, but before we do that, here's a word from our sponsor, LS Cream.
It's LS Cream, the fine cream liqueur crafted by fellow gamer and sifter Stevens Charles. Inspired by the Haitian drink crémasse, LS Cream delivers an award-winning experience with every single pour. One sip and you'll see why. It's a party favorite. The silky blend of fresh cream and premium neutral grain spirits mixes great with everything. I dare you to put a shot in your coffee. I've been drinking it for years, and still, I find new combinations that taste incredible. LS Cream is the kind of drink that keeps surprising you, thanks to its notes of vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, and coconut. Take it to any gathering, and watch it steal the spotlight. We've never seen anyone resist. Ready to join the fan club? Head to creamls.com/sifted for recipes, retailers, and online orders. That's creamls.com/sifted.
So I talked to Stevens Charles, the head of LS Cream, a couple days ago, asking him for some clarification on the deadline for the 5K challenge that we've been talking about here on GameFace. And he said that they are still working on distribution. So they don't want to set a deadline until they know when the distribution is going to kick back in, and it's more easy for you guys to find bottles of LS Cream. I can just tell you right now, they are working on this. Obviously, it is their entire business on the line here as far as distribution is concerned. So he said the best that he can tell you right now is to do your best to try to find a bottle of LS Cream. It will become easier. There's a certain thing that they're working on, and once that goes through, it will become easier. But in the meantime, just do your best. Go to creamls.com/sifted. Use the store locator there to find a local store, or you can just Google it and search online. It's at Bevmo and a bunch of other places. You can probably find it locally if you really give a little bit of effort. And once you do, come up with a drink. I gave you guys one, by the way. I gave you eggnog and LS Cream. Like, maybe somebody wants to take that and run with it. I'm just saying. Come up with your own drink. Give it a name. Take a cool picture of it. Put it on Instagram. Tag LS Cream. Tag 3 friends. And you could win $5,000 USD in the LS Cream 5K challenge. Good luck. Get out there and get going. Okay, so we're going to kick things off. We don't have a graphic for this because it just happened like at the last minute before I walked out the door. But we got the first trailer and the first information for the next Life is Strange. Matt, this game was leaked again. Like, it really feels like hardly anything is not leaked anymore.
Well, this only made it out by a half hour, so.
No, this was actually leaked last week.
Last week?
The title of it and the theme of the game.
I saw the info leaked. Yeah. The trailer was like pretty close.
Trailer was today.
I don't know who messed that up. But.
Trailer was today. The leak of the trailer, and then Square Enix is like, "Oh, it's out there. Let's put out the real version." So that's what happened. But we knew that it was called Life is Strange Reunion last week, and we knew that it was going to be a reunion between Chloe and what's her other name?
Max.
Max. Yeah. I can't remember that. But anyway, Chloe and Max reunion, it also, they're saying, is the culmination of their saga. So something's going to happen here at the end of it where it puts a cap on everything. Last couple Life is Strange games have been good, but not great. I do feel that maybe it was a little bit foolish to do the spin-offs, but also I'm wondering if maybe that was part of the plan all along. Because one of the spin-offs starred one of the two and gave you more context behind her story. So maybe that was their plan all along, was to do that and then bring the two back together for this. I don't know.
Well, the other one, that was a prequel. So I don't know. I guess because I don't think anyone was ever fully sure what ending they went with.
Well, no, we do know that because remember the one game she moved away to like Colorado or whatever, was living on her own, and she had like the
right, but we don't
box
know
of stuff hidden underneath her.
Right, but like there's two endings to the first game, and they're not really compatible with each other.
Yeah.
And I think we assumed that you picked the one where you save the town because the town's still there.
Right.
But this is a reveal that like I guess they're retconning the whole thing at this point. I don't know if they really needed to continue this story.
It's the only thing that's going to save the franchise.
Then maybe the franchise is over. Because I thought 2 was pretty good, and I thought that was a good way to do it. Just keep telling stories in this universe and have the other characters sort of weave in and out of it. I thought True Colors was okay. I mean, but I also just
like I said, they were good but not great.
Yeah, but that's also just sort of like all Deck 9's Life is Strange games have been that. Like,
and they're working on this one
Before
too.
the Storm was about the same as that too. It's just like I don't think they're ever gonna hit the high of the first one again.
Yeah.
In part because the first one was sort of a new thing at the time.
It's like lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like, I mean, some of this stuff is like, I don't think we ever need to see a young girl hold her hand out at the camera while her nose bleeds using a superpower ever again after the Stranger Things debacle.
Yeah.
Like, find another way to communicate that individually. And it's just also like I'm sorry, but the people who were teenagers when Life is Strange 1 came out are hitting 32 or 34 now.
It's really crazy to think about.
You're sort of running out of, like,
It's the Stranger Things paradox.
Yeah, I feel like the this is nostalgia now in a weird way. I feel like
Life is Stranger Things.
Very much so. Weird to think that this predates that.
I know, it really is.
So I don't know. Like, not everything needs to live forever.
I agree. Yeah. They did send out a boilerplate.
It's also weird that, like, so when I remember playing Life is Strange 1 and feeling how different it was to be a high schooler or whatever she's in high school now, right?
Yeah.
Because she's transferring to of how different it was to be a high schooler in today's world, compared to when I went to high school in the 90s. And now, simply because of how old they want these characters to be, this is now a period piece.
It is, yeah. It really is. It's a point in time.
Yeah, this takes place like 10 years ago. No.
Here's the boilerplate overview that was sent to me by Square Enix. Chloe Price was Max Caulfield's partner in time. Her.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Losing her is Max's greatest regret. Now Chloe has come to Caledon University, haunted by nightmares and impossible memories. Chloe needs Max's help, but Max is already in crisis. In 3 days, a deadly inferno will destroy the campus. Max's rewind power has brought her time, but she can't prevent the blaze alone. The fire will force Max and Chloe to make devastating decisions. Can they find a future together before everything burns?
Probably.
There you go. So there's your very quick synopsis of what the game is about based upon what they've released so far. I mean, I hear you. This franchise probably should have ended already, but I'm still encouraged by the fact that the two characters that I care about the most are going to drive this game. So I will give it another chance. I enjoyed the last two Life is Strange games.
My only question on that is Ashley Birch voicing Chloe?
That's a good question.
Because if she isn't, then I'm out.
Well, yeah, because it's a different character then, right? Yeah. I don't know why she wouldn't.
Well, she didn't in the prequel.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that. Then the answer is probably no.
I would imagine, I mean, unless she has some kind of feeling of loyalty to this character or interest in the project, then I'm sure she'd do it. But, like, she's kind of too big for this now.
Is she?
I mean, she's Aloy. She's Borderlands. She's a big deal now.
But you still see voice actors do smaller parts.
Sure, but, like, they may or may not be able to pay her rate at this point.
That's true. The budget may not fit her anymore.
Yeah.
That's the truth of the matter.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. So anyway, that just dropped right before I came over here today. Luckily, I've managed to go back in and grab it before I left to come over here so we could still talk about it. But I would agree with you on one level, and that's that Life is Strange has definitely lost a lot of cachet over the last like 8-9 years.
Demon does point out that the prequel was recorded during the strike, the VA strike, so that
might have something to do with it.
That was why she didn't do it. But
yeah.
I don't know. It feels like they make these things more and more on the cheap. So I hope if you're gonna spend money on any of them, it's this one. If you're gonna
which is funny because now Square Enix like owns it, and
right.
like
If you're gonna bring Chloe back, then I would certainly. I mean, that would be the second thing on my list after graphics would be pay Ashley Birch to come back.
Yeah, for sure. CFHX over on YouTube. Thank you for the super chat and the $13.99 Canadian donation. That's awesome. Anytime you guys do that, ask a question, and we'll make sure that we answer it for you. I promise. Cinetyke says Max can't get a break. Sheesh. Eric Cartmeta says I only like the first one.
Well, I think, as I recall, one of the kind of undertones of the Max games is that using her time travel power thing, like the reality keeps trying to put itself back to normal, and she's like an aberration to it. So bad things are probably going to continue to happen to her as the universe tries to like undo what she's done.
Yeah.
And God help you if you're supposed to be dead and you've undone. Because at this point, she's undone Chloe's death at least 3 times.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
Chloe's on borrowed time, triple time.
Mice Q says, I never hated these games, but I'm kind of over how much people focus on these games. I know the adventure game is a little barren, but I really can't be arsed to listen about them much anymore. I'm sorry, Mice Q, that we've started the show with something you detest.
I don't feel like people talk about these games anymore.
Yeah, because the last 2, it's like they've been spin-offs and people didn't care that much about them.
Double Exposure was barely noticed from what I could see. And nobody talked about True Colors.
No. We did, but
we
we're like the only ones.
I like True Colors.
I liked it too. Again, they're good,
they're
but
all
they're not
fine.
great.
Yeah.
Justin Horman says I could never get into this game because I couldn't stand the puzzle center interacting with high schoolers. LOL, like move.
That's true.
Cinetyke says, like Doc Brown said, it unravels the whole time continuum. Yeah. So anyway, we just got that into the show in the nick of time today. And again, there's going to be a big blowout for the game tomorrow. That'll be on SIFTD as always. Also, if you're looking for a place to find the Xbox Direct on Thursday, of course, go to siftd.net. It'll be probably pinned to the top of everyone's SIFT, so it's easy to find. But no matter what, it'll be rated high, so it will be up high in your SIFT no matter what. Check it out. All right, it's time to get on to what was supposed to be the show proper, but it worked out a little differently with Life is Strange. We're going to talk first about a big direct that happened this week for Resident Evil Requiem. It ended up being like sort of the end-all be-all presentation for Resident Evil Requiem. First of all, they show a ton of gameplay in this, and you're about to see it in our B-roll here. They really kind of expose in this how Leon and Grace play differently, and we'll get into that in a minute. But they also reveal a bunch of other stuff, like a downtown city area that you can walk around. Like, this game looks like it's going to be...
Which maybe explains that open world leak stuff early on.
Well, they said themselves that they were trying to make this game an open world game, and they got...
It feels like that must be the vestige.
Maybe. Because they got a part way into it, realized it wasn't going to work, and then reverted to this, or changed to this idea. I don't know if they reverted or whatever, but they changed the concept to this concept after they worked on the open world idea for a while. So you're right. Maybe that city is a leftover, and they're like, well, it looks cool. It looks great. Leave it in there.
Yeah, you built it. You might as well use it.
Do you think you're going to spend a lot of time in that area, or do you think it's just like a scene where you walk through it or whatever?
I'm sure it's probably like a hub kind of thing.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, if you're going to build it, you might as well use it.
Yeah, I found that pretty interesting, the setting there.
I have a feeling it's going to work sort of in a... like an Arkham City sort of way. Like the different places you go are going to be in the city, and it's sort of like Zelda dungeons. It's like, like you have a big world to run around in with not a whole ton of stuff to do, but like you get to the place and then you go through a whole, the whole. I mean, Village was sort of set up like that.
A little bit. The weird thing to me is that there's this society that's functioning. People are going to work, going to school. and then there's a zombie outbreak at the same time. That's the weird thing.
I mean, the zombie outbreak was like 20 years ago.
But it's happening again.
Yeah, but it's just like, how many times has it happened at this point? I mean,
it's
like
the normal person just like, oh, another zombie outbreak.
I mean, it's like Marvel, where it's like, yeah, there's just fucking Hulks and Thanos now. Like, we're just, half the population could vanish, and I still go to college, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Life goes on. Life is strange, but life goes on.
Life is Stranger Things. So for those of you who don't know, who haven't been following this game already, you play as two different protagonists. You play as FBI analyst Grace Ashcroft, and you play as Leon Kennedy. He needs no introduction, of course.
Leon has no job.
Yeah.
He's like 48 at this point.
Yeah, and he looks it in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's what women call the silver fox. Is that what they call older men who are...
He's had a hard life at this point.
And here's the thing.
But he's still got his hair. That's
true,
the important part.
That's true. And so you can play as either one of those characters at any time. You can swap back and forth whenever you want to. That's
the most interesting thing, because clearly they do not play the same way.
Right. Here's the thing. So
Leon has a hatchet.
For the first time.
Sure he does.
That's his new weapon, is his hatchet. That's the first time he's had one. He sharpens it between attacks, which is crazy. But Leon plays like Leon. Like, you shoot enemies in the knee, they go down, you round kick them to the head, or you shoot them in the head or whatever. And I'll say this, he has way more finishing moves than he has ever had in this.
Well, that's like the thing everybody loved. So it makes sense to double down on that.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I'm totally down with that. Now, the thing with Grace,
and he's finally accepted the chainsaw as his lord and savior.
So he can commandeer chainsaws and other weapons from enemies and use their weapons against them as well. So here's the thing, Matt. Who in the hell wants to play as Grace? So Grace has to, like, sneak around. She does have one weapon. It's like a really powerful hand cannon, like pistol. Mm-hmm. But you're not really supposed to use it. It's supposed to be used for last resort. So you got to sneak around and, like, try to not be detected. Who wants to play like that? Because the other thing, too, is if you get caught, you pretty much just insta-die.
I know several people who play horror games who are not good at the action stuff who will play as her.
Really?
For sure.
I think it's going to be really harder to play as her.
I think it'd be harder for me because I'm not inclined to play the games that way.
Yeah.
But like also, Resident Evil has always had the challenge run. Mm-hmm. So she's probably the equivalent of the knife only run.
Yeah.
In this.
Leon can also parry enemy attacks. That's how he commandeers weapons. You have to parry, and you can snag the weapons from the enemies. Grace is all about your judgment, basically, deciding when you want to fight, which ones to sneak around. She also has limited resources and a limited carrying capacity, which makes everything harder. She does have like a special device that allows her to craft items using infected blood.
Yeah, which we just saw that.
Yep. And then, like I said, she has the one rifle that she can use. It's an assault revolver is what they're calling it. But again, it's supposed to be used as a last resort. I question how many people, maybe on your second run you go back and play as Grace, but my ass is playing as Leon.
I think you're underestimating how many people would play as that.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
I'm surprised to hear that, actually. I mean, I'm sure Capcom did research and all that kind of stuff. Now, here's one thing you may have noticed in a lot of this footage. I'm actually going to take it back to the beginning here so you can kind of see what we're talking about. The zombies in this game are still connected to their prior lives, which is something that has been in zombie films since the beginning. Mm-hmm. I mean, George Romero's first films had this in it, where zombies could still kind of remember what their lives were like before they died.
Yeah, and Dawn of the Dead had the thing where like they theorized that they're all coming to the mall because that's where they
always used to go, right? And they're
which I guess wouldn't happen now, huh? Yeah. The zombies would just stay home and order everything online.
The funny thing is, I just drove past the mall where that was filmed. The Monroeville Mall outside of
Has anyone
Pittsburgh.
done that in a zombie movie where like the zombie apocalypse happens but there's nobody out in the streets and everybody looks in and all the zombies just at the computer or like on their phone?
Well, in this, they finally...
The whole apocalypse with the zombies just standing in the street scrolling? Yeah. Somebody do that. Where's that?
Yeah. Well, they finally brought this ideal to the Resident Evil franchise. Again, I have no idea why it took so long, but there are crying zombies in this game. You find them, like, in one scene, you saw the one guy working at the grill at, like, a restaurant. There's another one where there's a zombie in the bathroom, and she's, like, looking in the mirror, and I guess she's, like, figuring out that she's completely deformed and ugly. So
I mean, that's the kind of the advantage of having it be like a bioengineered virus.
Yeah.
Is, like, it can mutate, it can change, it can be different every time, and, you can turn someone into a liquor, or you can...
Yeah.
have it now. They have a little semblance of their humanity, maybe because people have a resistance to it now.
Yeah.
And so you still retain a little bit of your brain, but you still want to eat brains.
So this also has a lot more granular difficulty settings.
Also, very big theme in the 28 Years Later movies right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It is, yeah.
And that new one is just as good as the first one.
Yeah. And so maybe to my point earlier about like who wants to play as Grace, there is a casual difficulty setting in this that offers like a really generous aim assist. You have more player health. Enemies go down easier. There's a bunch of different difficulty settings in this, so you should be able to find, no matter what kind of player you are, you should find something that'll make you feel comfortable playing it. Although, feeling comfortable isn't maybe what you want to do while you're playing Resident Evil. Maybe you want to feel a little uncomfortable. But anyway, after they got through sort of the gameplay stuff and talked about the differences between Leon and Grace, then they started talking about some of the other sort of tertiary stuff around the game. First of all, obviously this game is coming to PC, but it is going to run with DLSS 4.5, which is the latest frame gen from NVIDIA. This game, by the way, looks freaking gorgeous. Like, the RE engine, man, like, wow. Like, this footage, look, you're seeing it in 1080p here on GameFace, but go to SIFTD, watch it in 4K. This game is a stunner, man.
And it's definitely real, because in that shot where the one zombie guy turns the lights off, that was just his fingers clipped through his face.
Oh, really?
So it's definitely the game.
Yeah. Oh, it's real time for sure. And some of the screenshots that they put out for this are mind blowing. Like the blood in this game when they freeze it and show it looks incredible. So this game looks awesome. It's going to run on DLSS 4.5, which basically NVIDIA just announced at CES 2026. So big stuff there. It's going to be on GeForce Now, which is NVIDIA's competitor for Game Pass, basically, where you can stream games live. It's going to be on GeForce Now on day one. It's also coming to Switch 2, which it's not going to look this good on Switch 2, would be my guess. But I think it still looks pretty good. They put out some footage, and I was pretty impressed with it. But they are putting out a Switch 2 Pro controller for Resident Evil Requiem. It's branded in all the RE stuff. They're also putting out, for the first time ever, a Resident Evil amiibo for this game, which they've never done before.
Yeah, not a lot of M-rated amiibos outside of Solid Snake.
Definitely not. They also signed a deal with the Hamilton Watch Company, which I had never heard of before this.
Yeah, they're high-end, pretty high-end watches.
Yeah, $2,000 Hamilton watches are being made for this game. There's only going to be 2,000 made total. So if you got a little extra cash lying around, my guess is the value of that watch will probably go up pretty quickly and pretty significantly.
Hamilton watches are generally a pretty solid investment if that's what you're into.
And since this is only 2,000 made.
Yeah, but considering that scientists just accidentally turned lead into gold,
right,
a lot of those things may be changing.
That's a good point, actually.
Finally, the lead standard.
They're also creating this weird one-of-a-kind Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT that they're like 3D printing or something. Mm-hmm. I couldn't really quite understand what they were talking about. Like, yeah. I don't think it's a real car.
I mean, it's gonna. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be a mass production or anything, but
yeah,
like, they're clearly making it.
I mean, they're going all out for this game. That's what I'm getting at here.
Yeah.
They're also making 1/6 scale figurines. There's going to be an orchestral concert tour coming to Japan, North America, and Europe later this year. They're doing it up right. It is the 30th anniversary of Resident Evil.
Yep.
And so they are really blowing out Requiem with all this extra stuff that they're doing.
Leon would drive a Cayenne.
Yeah, I mean, that is his car in the game, and then they're making 3D.
So Leon's doing all right, is what I'm getting from this.
Raccoon, yeah, I guess the Raccoon Police Department paid all right.
Well, he was working for the president in 4. I mean, he's an international figure at this point.
That's true. And then that was pretty much it. That was all the information that they gave out. The game comes out on February 27th. So we have a month and a week before we're playing what will probably be the first Game of the Year contender for 2026. Mm-hmm. So not much longer to wait. Again, it's coming to PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and Switch 2. I think the game's looking hot. I'm really excited for this game. Are you, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I would not be nearly as excited if Leon wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Leon is very much my favorite character. 4 is definitely my favorite game in the series, so this kind of feels like 4-2 a little bit. So,
do you ever have another Resident Evil game without Leon in it?
Probably.
You think so?
I mean,
other than a remake?
I think so. I you don't want people to get tired of him.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool that he's coming back because it's been 21 years.
Yeah.
You know.
But you get fooled by the RE4 remake, right?
Yeah, and RE2 remake.
Yeah.
You know, he's it's not like he's been gone.
Yeah.
And he was in 6, but like we don't talk about 6.
Yeah.
And look at that, like that shot is a direct reference to the original Resident Evil 4 that didn't get made.
When the enemy in RE4 was the guy with the crazy big scissors. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That because they showed that scene there of the blowing curtains way back when.
Yep.
In the first trailer for the first version of Resident Evil 4, those curtains were a big deal. Good call there, Matt. I noticed it too when I watched the trailer, but I don't know if most people would. But it's cool that they're putting little Easter eggs.
Well, considering how many times I had to watch that trailer, like putting the endless previews together.
That's true.
And then I remember going to that where they first let you play for at that Vegas thing. And I'm like, where are the curtains?
Yeah.
There's no all this time and there's no fucking curtains.
Well, that was a huge bait and switch. I mean, the game completely changed from what it was like when they first showed it.
Well, I remember, because again, there were no leaks there. There was no no one put their coverage up that day. It was you had to do the thing, get all the stuff, come back home, set it all up, and put it out. It took like a week. And I remember coming back and telling everyone like, no, Resident Evil 4 is amazing. Like it's completely different. It's unlike, and I was like. Like no one really believed me.
And then I reviewed it.
Yeah.
I came into work and was like losing my mind. I was like, oh my god.
And I remember you're like, it's like this is the easiest 5 I've given like in like years. And I'm like, I told you. Like, I mean, you didn't disbelieve me, but like other people on the show were kind of like, it's Resident Evil. Like, who fucking cares? You know, I was like, I didn't care until I fucking played this thing. It's incredible.
Yep.
So yeah.
And this isn't the last Resident Evil we're going to talk about in today's show either. This is an RE-heavy episode. We're going to talk about another game here in a little bit.
I'm surprised that, I mean, obviously this is the best thing to do for the big anniversary is to release a big new game.
Yeah.
I'm still surprised that the Resident Evil 1 remake hasn't
This would be the perfect time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they might have it up their sleeve. We don't know.
Could be.
But like,
or
it feels weird to do two big Resident Evil releases in 1 year.
Yeah. That might be a little much.
But then I don't know. There's not a whole lot coming this year that we know of. So maybe later in the year, maybe a Halloween.
It's possible. It absolutely is possible because their remakes and stuff like that come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
like they'll announce them and like 2 months later you can buy.
But they do like to just put them out in February.
Yeah,
like it's like February. There's Resident Evil something.
Yeah,
you can count on it.
It's pretty much like clockwork. Yeah, something related. Let's check in with you guys. What you guys are thinking about Resident Evil Requiem? I'll say this: like. We curated the direct, and the action on it was like 0. So I don't know if you guys are like putting yourselves on blackout at this point because you just don't want to know any more about the game. But you guys weren't talking about that or any. I was shocked that there wasn't more hype and action around this. But let's see what you guys are saying in chat here. Jonathan Ramos 3949 says, I want it all, but my bank account says no. Yep. I hear ya. Don't diss my Minnesota hot dishes. I'm not sure what they're talking about there.
It's an ongoing conversation.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, you guys are not talking... Well, you guys aren't talking about Resident Evil here either. Eric said...
They're talking about Silent Hill.
Oh. Eric Carmena says Leon would drive a GT3 RS. Yeah. Yeah, you guys aren't actually talking about it. Hopefully Leon doesn't crash his new car in this game. That's a good point.
Porsche is not very open to that.
Yeah,
so I would imagine that Cayenne gets through the zombie apocalypse just fine.
Yeah. Blitches says you can't pick your character. The story is chapter...
That would make a lot more sense.
Grace 1 chapter, Leon the next, and so on. That's not what I saw in my research at all. Is that you could swap at any time is what I saw over and over again. I read, 3 different previews or something. And that's what I saw in those previews. You could switch anytime you wanted to. You could play whoever you wanted to.
Maybe you can play whoever you want when you're like wandering around between chapters.
Maybe.
But each chapter is a specific character.
That could be. Yeah. Yep. Everyone talking about the Silent Hill film. Daring Swoosh, thank you for Twitch Prime. Let me see if I can find others here who have done that. Jam Rain 99, thank you for Twitch Prime. Also, I should add, we just got our Twitch Prime payout, and it was like the lowest maybe ever. And I remember asking people, like, could you just do it for the holidays? And it's like they were like, because you asked me to do it, I'm not going to do it. I don't know anymore. I can't figure things out anymore.
Yeah, this preview says swappable at any point during the game.
Yeah, that's what all the previews I read said. So, Blitches, I don't know where you're getting that info, but maybe if you could give us a link or something. But everything I read said you could swap at any time. So
Yeah, everything I'm seeing says swappable whenever you want.
yeah, that's what I saw
Which
too.
is weird. Like, I'm surprised. That's a hard... Resident Evil's dual protagonist system will be like repeatedly jumping into a cold bath after a hot sauna whenever you want.
Yeah.
That's certainly a way to put it. Okay.
It's like, so again, I've read like a bunch of stuff. They all said the same thing. Blitches, you're the only one that seems to think that. So maybe you can tell us where you're getting that information from or whatever. But anyway, bottom line is there are 2 playable characters in the game. Let's just leave it at that for now.
I mean, swappable any time with characters that play that differently is a very different gameplay.
It is different.
Game design challenge,
Yeah.
level design challenge, certainly.
For sure. I mean, because you have to make sure the levels work for both characters at all times. Like, you're going around as Leon, but there's also a setup there to play as stealth, but you can't sneak as Leon. That is a little weird, for sure. So anyway, Blitches, if you find out where you heard that from, that'd be great if you give us some clarification. But for now...
At the very least, it seems that you would not be the first person confused by that.
Yeah. I mean,
because the other articles I'm looking at there all say you can swap whenever you want.
Yeah. So maybe it's just bad
He's
messaging.
saying it means you can swap third to first person whenever you want.
That's not what those articles say.
Which is not what the articles are saying.
No.
They're saying you can swap characters whenever you want.
Yeah. Yep.
And elsewhere, one of the articles I saw also said that about the viewpoint in a separate section
Right.
of the article.
And
so.
it is, thank you, Blitches, actually. It's good that you brought that up. That we should remind people that you can play the game in first or third person, and you can change that anytime you want as well. So, okay, it's time to move on to our next topic.
I would play Resident Evil Warriors.
Oh, like a Dynasty
like a Musou
Warriors?
game?
Like with
Yeah.
like armies
Yeah.
of zombies?
Yeah.
I would play that. I definitely would. Make it happen.
Leon in his purest form.
Well, I mean, we're running out of like unique ideas like that,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
So make it happen, please. That would be sweet.
Did you see the Silent Hill thing where the little girl is being played by the same girl who played her in the remake of the game?
No.
And they didn't know because she was under an NDA for the game remake when they were casting the movie.
Oh.
So it's a complete coincidence that the director of the movie cast the same actress for
No
the same
way!
role in the remake movie as played her in the remake of the game.
Well, I mean, she must be perfect for the role.
Yeah, I mean she does. She is exactly.
She nails it.
the
Yeah,
character,
for sure. Yeah. All right, it's time to move on. We're going to talk next about the PlayStation 5.
I would also play Resident Evil Dancing All Night. That is true.
We're going to preview PlayStation 5 for 2026. It's been a couple, maybe 3 rough years for the PlayStation 5 as far as exclusive games for the platform.
They're still winning.
And they're still winning, yep, by a landslide. But this year, I think things are starting to change and turn a little bit. Maybe they finally got out from under the mountain of service games that they were forcing their developers to create.
Well,
we're starting to get
there's one left, really.
That's true.
That we got to get past.
That's true.
But other than that,
Yeah.
maybe we've learned a lesson here.
Yep. But there are exclusive games for PlayStation 5. Pretty much, it looks like, throughout most of the year. Not all of them are first party. There's a couple third-party games we're going to talk about in this preview. But for the most part, they are games coming from Sony. And as we get to the end of this discussion, we're going to start talking about a couple games that haven't been formally announced that very well could release this year. And we're talking about some big ones. First up, though, we're going to talk about a game that I just kind of mentioned, which is one that's a third-party game, and that is Neo 3. This game comes out in a couple months here. It is a PlayStation 5 console exclusive. It's not coming to Xbox Series or Switch 2. It's coming to PS5 and PC. But again, console exclusive for PlayStation 5. This game is completely going under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like people have figured out whether they like this franchise or not.
Yeah, you're either into this or you are not.
Yeah.
And most people I've seen, even the hardcore Souls people, are just like, nah, I don't need to do that to myself again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the people who love these games are like, yeah, they're super into it. But I feel like most people have decided this game is a little too much.
I decided that with the first one. Like, 5 or 6 hours into the first one, I was like, what is this? Like,
yeah, like this, like if I play this, I will probably get it on PC later when it's cheaper, so I can cheat because I just want to see everything.
Yeah.
Like I do actually really like the art style and kind of like what all the. I mean, it's a very visually impressive series.
It is, yeah.
But I am just not good enough at it to get through it.
Yep.
Like
Me either.
And I don't care to do the study. to it. You know, I don't like you. I feel like I'd have to train like I train in a fighting game I want to win a tournament in to be proficient at this game.
I agree.
I just don't want to do that.
I played the first one for 5 hours. I was like, I get it. Not for me. See ya. Second one, I never even bothered to play. But this game is not tracking well on SIFTD at all, as far as you guys.
I don't think it's tracking well on anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I think Neo has its audience, and that's
that.
it.
Yeah. It feels that way. It also feels like it has its reviewers.
Yeah.
Because these games score very, very high generally.
I'm sure almost every major outlet must have like the Neo
guy.
person.
Yeah.
Like there's one person that just really loves can just play
Can
them.
do it.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't even finish this game, I don't think. I really don't think I could. I saw that there was some grandpa that recently played Dark Souls, and it took him 8 years to beat Dark Souls. He's like 80. He had never played a video game before in his life. And his like nephew or grandson or whatever was like, I triple dog dare you to beat Dark Souls or whatever. And Gramps took it up, and it took him 8 years to finish Dark Souls.
But he did
That
it.
would be me with Neo 3. I can pretty much guarantee it. So anyway, that's Neo 3. It is a PlayStation exclusive. It is coming out on February 6th. So it's only 3-4 weeks away.
Pretty soon.
Day after my birthday, actually. Happy birthday to me. Here's Neo 3. So anyway, that's in February. That's the first big exclusive for PlayStation 5 of 2026. Next up, a game that we are just giving a little business to, and that is Marathon. We just got the release date for Marathon. It is coming out on March 5th. So this is only 8 weeks away. It's going to sell for $40. They're putting out like crazy collector's editions and everything. Here's the sad part, Matt. So yesterday they announced the collector's edition of this, and if you click the link to go and buy the collector's edition, you get taken to a Cloudflare page where it puts you in a queue. They were assuming that like people were gonna be in a mad rush to go buy the collector's edition of this game, and so they set up this queue like you would for any product, like a console or whatever that a lot of people want. And so when I went to go check the price on it, I had to sit and wait through this BS stuff to get to the page that showed you the price. I gave up. I went back 5 hours later, like last night, and checked it again, and went and actually was patient enough to sit through all that stuff, and they were still available.
Oh, I'm sure.
They had not sold out.
Well, I mean, collector's editions are tough sells these days.
This one's $230.
That's crazy for something that has no fan base. Like if you're doing that with like Resident Evil or like an established thing, sure. Like limited run sells out pretty regularly for like things that are established. But like this, no one knows what this. You know, I don't think people do that anymore. Just like buy the crazy like collector's edition physical copy of a thing that they've never played before. Like this ain't Gears of War 6 here, people. Like you don't know.
Wouldn't it make more sense to put that out like 3 months after the game is out, when you've established your fans and people have figured out, I love this. I'm
like,
gonna stick
it's
with
a big hit and people love it and want more stuff. Here's some merch,
right?
Basically,
that seems like the smarter idea to me. But I guess they'll still be available then.
Yeah, I guess it's still there for you. Maybe it'll be cheaper then. I mean, you could pick up. What was it, about a year ago? A little more than I think it was last May or June. You could pick up the collector's edition of Veilguard for $20.
Oh wow. Now, this is multi-platform. It's a multiplayer game, so it's coming out for PS5 and PC. And as we said, it is selling for $40, just like Concord tried and failed, but also just like Arc Raiders tried and succeeded. So Arc Raiders was a vote of confidence for Bungie on this.
Sorta. Arc Raiders, I think, is a more compelling idea.
It's kind of sucked all the air out of the room for extraction shooters, too. I mean, one thing I will say is this game looks more interesting to me than Arc Raiders. I played Arc Raiders, and I still don't quite understand why it's such a huge deal. I still don't get it. Like, I maybe should have played it a little bit longer, but I played it a good bit. I've played a lot of shooters. I didn't see what the magic was with Arc Raiders, but other people did, so I'm wrong if other people...
Yeah, I don't think this... I mean, this doesn't look any more interesting than Arc Raiders to me.
Really? The art style doesn't do anything for you?
No. I mean, the art style's cool, but I don't play the art style. I have to play the game, and I don't particularly care about multiplayer shooters or extraction shooters. So.
You do stare at the art style a long time, though. And this game definitely has a unique look, even if it was stolen.
Yeah, and even if it's actually less unique than it was before they kind of
Right.
revamped it to not be as stolen.
Yeah, they did kind of nerf it, so
Yeah.
it's not quite as striking as this trailer is. Like they've toned down the cell shading a lot. It's more realistic looking now than this.
Yeah, there's a lot more lens flary and a lot less, like, I don't know, whatever you'd call this style.
Yeah. But maybe the best news is that this is about to come out, and maybe Bungie can actually start working on something.
Yeah, I was
going
going
to
to say, like, the best news is, it's almost out, so we can stop fucking talking about it after it crashes and burns, and that'll be that.
You think Bungie will ever make a single-player game again? That isn't a service game, or they count on people playing it for the next 10 years?
At the risk of sounding incredibly cynical, I don't care.
Yeah. That ship's kind of sailed.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I need to worry about Bungie anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I played Destiny as much as I need to play Destiny. I don't care about this unless you want to make another marathon single-player game.
Mm-hmm.
But the classic marathons went up as remasters for free, all 3 of them. I'm kind of fine. I
Yeah.
don't need more than that. Like, most marathon is mostly 90s Mac game nostalgia for me anyway, more than any desire to see it brought back. I appreciate the nods to it in some of this game, like it's on Tau Ceti, and it's on, there's little things in there.
It could use more.
Yeah, but also like Marathon was basically, in terms of multiplayer, was like a Doom game. It was just like free for all, everybody blasting spanker missiles at each other through in a big tube, basically.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they're doing here. Okay, sure. What does that have to do with Marathon? Nothing.
It really doesn't.
So-
It's just something that they could plaster on it to give
It
it a
didn't.
name.
Marathon didn't look like this. I mean, there's like, there's little things in that original trailer. There's a SFIT, and there was like a couple of references to like the aliens and stuff. But it's like, who gives a shit? Like, do this thing, let it die, move on to whatever's next, and Sony can just continue regretting their purchase.
MiceQ says, I spent $300 on Dark Souls 2 Collector's Edition, and a few years later, you could get the Xbox version for way less at GameStop. I never bought a CE again. Yeah.
I think the last Collector's Edition I really went in on was Witcher 3.
Yeah.
I bought the PC and the Xbox version of the Collector's Edition, and I no longer have either of those. I have the stuff from the Collector's, but I had the PC version I had sealed for a long time, and I think a year or two ago I finally sold it for like double what I paid for it.
I have never bought a Collector's Edition in my life. I have a bunch of them because they would send them to me for free. Like, as the EIC, they would always send me, like, the big Collector's Edition of every game or whatever. So I have a bunch of old ones, but I don't think I've ever bought one on my own with my own money.
I mean, I got a few through work as well, but like a lot of my, like I bought, I mean, it depends. Like, just like a bigger box with like an art book, that's fine.
Yeah,
whatever.
it's
like,
not a big deal.
Like, I got the Last of Us 1, I got that one in the bigger box.
Yeah.
And mostly because it was at the GameStop in Hollywood, and I got it signed by all the voice actors and all the devs who were there for the opening.
That's cool.
And hung out with Troy Baker for a while.
Nice.
That was the night of E3. It was one of the E3 nights. I drove from E3 to that GameStop and had it and got it in all signed. So that was cool.
Dedication.
I have the Fallout 3 Pip-Boy Vault Edition.
Oh, really?
I got that. That one's worth tons of money now.
What is she doing?
Just having a
She's having fun.
wild. I have a lot of collector's editions, but like I've gotten rid of a lot of them. I got a cheap, because remember that Halo Reach one that had the statue of all of them and all that? That didn't sell at all and went on deep discount for like $25-$30 at one point, so I bought it and brought it to work, and I'm like, look, I got it, and I opened it and I was like, now what?
Yeah.
You know, I think I pawned that statue off on somebody else when G4 closed.
Oh,
I was
really?
like, take the ring of Spartans away from me, please.
Collector's editions are good for building your collection of game swag.
Oh yeah.
If you want a bunch of figurines, statues, and
my
stuff.
favorites are like the ones that aren't I don't like the statues and all this. I like the things that are like I love the BioShock 2 one that came with the vinyl soundtrack for the first game. Like, that was great.
Yeah, sometimes they do cool stuff.
The Witcher had some cool stuff that wasn't because the statue in The Witcher 3 was horrible. Like the paint on that was a joke. It was one of the worst things I've ever seen. But there was a bunch of like The Witcher 2 had some good collector stuff, mostly art stuff, like because the art on those is so good.
Yeah.
Like some of the anime ones were the anime JRPGs were pretty good. They came with again usually weird shit, art, A lot of people at G4 love the ones that came with the boob mouse pads. That was a trend for a while.
There were the wrist pad where the boobs. You
yeah.
could rest your wrist in between the two boobs.
Yeah, but the NIS games came with. I really leaned into that for a while.
I think I may have one of those in a box somewhere.
And one for what was it? One of the women on the web team had the one from Magna Carta that she used forever. That was a PS2 Korean RPG.
Yeah, I remember.
That had like it was all like huge bulbous women. It's the same character designer as Stellar Blade.
Oh yeah.
Like that's what he's doing now. Pretty much the same thing.
The same thing 15 years later. So anyway, that's Marathon. Again, it's coming out on March 5th for $40 for PS5 and for PC. Next up.
Oh, and I guess the most recent collector's editions I've kept up with are the Xenoblade ones.
Those are pretty good.
Those are all. I wish they'd done one for Xenoblade Chronicles X, like because the definitive edition did not get a collector's edition.
Yeah.
It's the only one that I don't have for Switch with a collector's edition. I do have the collector's edition of the Wii U version though, so. We're all good.
Yeah, I think it'll suffice.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's close enough. That's arguably all that one deserves. So
pretty much. Yep. Next up, coming on April 30th, and that's after it just had like a month and a half delay, is Saros. The next game from Housemarque is a spiritual successor to Returnal. So it is a third-person roguelite shooter.
Yeah, all of their games are kind of spiritual successors to each other.
To something, yeah. Even if it's just voxels.
They definitely have a house style.
They do. Housemarque has a house style, yeah. And a lot of it does have to do with voxels, although they're definitely not as overt in this game as they have been in pretty much all their other games.
You can see the bullet hell.
Yeah, for sure. So this is basically the same setup and concept as Returnal, but they're saying that they're refining the roguelite part of the game to make it even more easier. If you remember, that was kind of the big revelation with Returnal, was that it was a roguelite that wasn't impossible. It allowed you to build up your character even if you failed.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a roguelite is.
And at the time...
That's what defines a roguelite, is the ability to make permanent progression in some way.
That's true, yeah. Otherwise, it's a roguelike. Right. But they kind of were one of the first major games to use sort of that template of like, yeah, you got to try the same stuff over and over again, but it's going to be easier each time you do it. And they said that they're going even further with this, or with that concept for Saros. Lots of running through an empty world here in the gameplay trailer, though. I don't know if that's a smart idea, but...
I think it's because it's early.
Yeah, once it gets into the action, though, this trailer is awesome. So this is PS5 only. This is not announced for anything else yet, although my guess is it'll be announced for PC probably within 6 months after it comes out for PlayStation 5, something like that. Returnal did not sell great. I think it sold well enough to warrant a spiritual successor, but notice it's not Returnal 2.
Well, also, I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
Considering how Returnal
How do you ever make sequels to
ends.
roguelites, really?
Well, also, that story's over. Like that, it would be very irritating to like retcon that Returnal.
Have somebody else crash land on the planet.
Yeah, or I mean, this is really what a Returnal 2 should be. It's like we're taking the concept and we're doing something different with it, and maybe you could consider it to be in the same universe, but probably not. Like this seems more Lovecraft oriented in a sci-fi way because it references the King in Yellow and Carcosa, and I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, he didn't come up with that stuff, but it's considered part of the Cthulhu mythos. So there is a bunch of like eldritch horror stuff happening here. There you go, right there,
right on cue.
But yeah, the King in Yellow is Carcosa is the name of the place. Maybe the planet I think that he's on, or maybe the town, the city in the way. So Carcosa is Dim Carcosa is the city of the the twilight between the living and the dead, where the King in Yellow is sort of associated with Hastur, who is the King in Yellow reference in the first season of True Detective. Like there's a whole it goes back to Ambrose Bierce and all that stuff. There's a lot of literary stuff happening here, despite how run and gun this thing looks. So I'm very curious how they integrate all that stuff, because Returnal actually did have a lot going on narratively.
It did.
And emotionally.
If you paid attention.
If you paid attention. It was a much more personal story than you would be possibly led to believe. Curious how they handle that, because one of the trauma of her dying over and over again and finding her own dead body over and over again was sort of part of the story in that.
Yeah.
I'm curious. He also seems to be aware that things like that are happening to him, because it's just sort of how that works. So they've earned my trust on these things.
Oh, for
so.
sure. Oh, yeah. I'm in on this game for sure. I love Returnal. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a big fan of roguelikes at all. So it definitely sort of transcended that subgenre for me.
Just Returnal and Ball Pit. That's about it.
Pretty much. Actually, you're right. That's really funny. Also, if you notice, there's almost like an active reload-ish thing going on there while you're shooting. Like a little mini game will pop up, and you have to like hit the R2 once it falls. Like a little meter falls within whatever. So there's like active reloads in this or something along those lines. I'm not sure what the actual mechanic is, but yeah, if you liked Returnal, you're probably going to like this too, provided you're down with the setting and you're getting a good look at that here with this trailer. Although the setting just appears to just go all over the place. Mm. Like, perfect timing, I said that, and they just flip through like 6 environments in the B-roll just like that. So anyway, this game, again, is coming out soon on April 30th. Maybe they should put it out on 4/20, but they didn't. So it's coming out on 4/30. And that's a PlayStation 5 exclusive for now. Again, I think it'll probably be eventually announced for PC as well. Next up, coming up, and so there's a gap. So from April 30th to September 9th, as of right now, there are no exclusives for PS5. But on September 9th, we get Phantom Blade Zero, which is a game...
They are already pushing real hard.
And this is South Korea, I think this is from, or China. I can't remember which.
I don't remember.
It's one or the other.
I can't keep straight all the dark fantasy
it's hard.
Asian mythology roguelites.
Yeah. It's from East Asia. I'll just put it to you that way. That's the best way to just put it all in one bucket. But to Matt's point, PlayStation has really started promoting this. I'm sure it's figured out that there's a huge gap in 2026, and the first game that brings everything back online is this.
It just feels like a hard sell to the mass audience.
Yeah.
In the same way that like Rise of the Ronin was.
Yeah. I mean, I think Black Myth Wukong has emboldened a lot of publishers to think
somewhat, but this doesn't have the spectacle of that.
Yeah.
Like Black Myth Wukong had the giant like gods and the monkey guy. I mean,
well,
maybe that was the time for that, like that Robbie Williams documentary where he was a monkey.
Oh right, yeah. The other thing is that Black Myth Wukong, anybody can clearly see that it's a gorgeous game.
Yeah.
It's one of the best looking games on the market.
This looks like this is a lot grimier.
Yep.
And it's intentional, obviously, but like it's just so much mud in this game.
Yeah, all brown, red, and gray, pretty much.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot more green in Black Myth Wukong.
Yep. This is also just a console exclusive. This game's also coming out for PC, I believe, day and date. But again, it's only coming out for PlayStation 5 on consoles. The other thing too is that whoever is like capturing footage for them is not doing it right. Like they're not they're capturing it with like weird settings on that's causing everything to blur together in their trailers. So maybe they'll figure that out, or PlayStation will help them. But this game has been in development for a long time. Like the first trailer we ran in this on GameFace was in 2021. So it's been 5 years since we ran the first trailer for this in GameFace. Mm-hmm. So it is a long time coming. I'm guessing PlayStation gave the studio all the time it needed to get it nice and polished and ready to go. But again, this game is called Phantom Blade Zero. It's another Wuxia game. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Wuxia.
Wuxia? Is that how you say it?
I think so.
Okay. What does that mean exactly?
I mean, it's basically just the genre term for like the
Eastern Asian games.
No, it's the fantastical martial arts, like legendary, like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like
running on the
ancient
bamboo reeds, stuff like that.
like ancient, like legendary magic swords, and everybody has superpowers and can fly on the wind and walk on bamboo, and that's Wuxia.
Okay.
And again, pronunciation is probably off. I'm terrible at pronouncing Chinese, Mandarin, and Cantonese. Despite how long I spent watching Hong Kong John Woo cinema, I never picked up any of the language at all.
I think you can be forgiven.
But and for those who are into that, I should note that Shout Factory is doing a lot of really good 4K releases of those movies now. Mm-hmm. There's a great version of City on Fire out, the great version of Hard Boiled, the whole Bullet in the Head trilogy just came out, is coming. Better Tomorrow, those just came out. Better Tomorrow 2 is a great movie. It's one of Chow Yun-Fat's greatest performances.
I have not watched it.
It's very, very good. You don't need to see the other ones. And he's... Better Tomorrow, is that the one? I can't remember if it's Better Tomorrow. I think it's Better Tomorrow, where he played a character in Better Tomorrow 1 who dies. And so for the sequel, they just brought him back as his own brother. And that was it. Like, he's just like... Because they want... Obviously, you need Chow Yun-Fat because he's the star. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm his identical brother. and I'm also a cop. Like, fuck it. Yeah,
That's funny. But again, this is coming out on 9/9, the same day as the release date of the Dreamcast. Except this is 2026, about 27 years later.
Cinetyke, I will note that, like, he says Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Hero, The House of Flying Daggers. Yeah, those are all wuxia, and I miss those movies. Those movies never stopped in China. You can still, you hunt them down, you can see them. You can still see old stuff and new stuff. There's more than you can ever. Check out Chinese Ghost Story, which also has some good versions from Shout Factory right now. That is Chinese Ghost Story 1 and 2 are very influential in the genre from like the 80s and 90s, and that is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. You draw a direct line from Chinese Ghost Story to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon if you like those movies.
Okay. So anyway, there you go. That's Phantom Blade Zero, again, coming out on September 9th.
One thing I will note is that Phantom Blade Zero, while definitely you can see the connection there, wuxia movies are generally much brighter in color. There's a lot more. They pop more. Yeah, you're right. They pop more, and than that. I've never seen that much mud.
Yeah, me either.
In any of those.
That's almost like an old kung fu film.
Yeah, it has.
They fight in the mud a lot.
It has more, that has. It's like if the Shaw Brothers did mud like wuxia, which is also it's a related genre. But it's not the like 36 Chambers is not the same. It's not wuxia. It's a different genre, but they're related.
Yeah.
Also, check out the Shawscope collections if you're into that stuff. All the Shaw Brothers stuff are on that, and they're moving into Shawscope Volume 4, 5, and 6 are supposed to branch out into wuxia and supernatural like Ghost Story stuff.
Okay.
Those collections are very worth tracking down if you can find them for a decent price these days.
Okay, so we've only got a few left that actually have dates.
Better uses of your money than Phantom Blade Zero, probably.
Probably. We only have a few games left that actually have a loose release date in 2026. First up, we know already Q4 2026 of this year, Marvel's Wolverine from Insomniac. Sure to be I'm guessing, one of the final contenders for Game of the Year in 2026.
GTA doesn't make it, I think this one might have it.
It definitely has the inside track, for sure. Insomniac's been working on this game for a long time. Anything Insomniac works on for a long time ends up being amazing. That's just pretty much how it goes. We've waited a long time for a good Wolverine game. What was that last one? That was 10 years ago?
Well, what you mean the good one from Raven?
Yeah.
That was longer than 10 years.
More than 10.
That was like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Because Wolverine Origins was 2007?
Is that right? Has it been that long?
I want to say we were in the E building, so it would have been 2007, 2008.
Wow.
I think.
Time flies.
Yeah, we were in the E building because I remember Blair Herter was our interviewer.
Showrunner.
He's our interviewer he's the interviewer for the junket for Wolverine Origins, and he had a very frank conversation with Hugh Jackman about the quality of the movie because Hugh Jackman asked him. He's like, I know you love this stuff, so what did you really think about this and this and this? And Blair told him.
He told him the truth.
And all the PR people were mortified. They're like, everyone's like, no, what are we doing? And Jackman. So here's I think this is a really cool story about Hugh Jackman. He said thank you. Like, it's very hard to get a straight answer from people when you're me. When you're in my position in this business, I really wanted to hear the truth, and I feel like you gave it to me. So thank you. Next time you're first. And,
wow.
And it was Jackman's a real one.
He's a good dude.
Jackman's a real dude.
I like that.
And the next one, which was the next big was was Logan.
Yeah.
We were first. We were first.
I'm not surprised to hear he's a great guy, by the way. Not surprised to hear that at all.
Never heard a bad thing about that.
I haven't either. Working in this industry for all the years I have, I've never heard anyone say anything bad about it.
The X-Men junkets were where all the most interesting stuff happened with G4.
Yeah.
My favorite story being when a bunch of the guys were setting up for I think it was X-Men 3, and it was in the lobby. Like they were in a hotel, and they had to be in a lobby. Everyone had their own little space, and they were in the lobby. They were setting up their little junket interview space, and it was it was two of the producers and Kevin Pereira, I think, and all younger, slimmer boys.
Yeah.
And Ian McKellen came walking by and just comes by and looks and just is looking at them, and everyone's like, "What?" Ian McKellen says that, and Ian McKellen just goes, "Oh, I hope you boys are all staying in the same room," and just walks off, and they're like,
"Okay,
did Gandalf just proposition us? Holy shit!"
That's funny.
Very, very. So much stuff used to happen at those things.
It really
did. It was a good time.
Comic-Con was like that too, man. You get in so many lines where you just talk to, and they just get so like they get loopy after a while.
Oh, I mean, you don't even. I don't think they even know where they are sometimes because you're seeing here. It's the same questions over and over and
they
over.
do it for like
and
2
over.
hours straight. It's brutal for them. They're well paid for it though.
Back in the day, we wanted to interview Ben. You remember this? We wanted to interview Ben Affleck.
Oh yeah.
In the early days of X-Play, because we heard he was a gamer, so we had to do all the rigmarole to go through the Jersey Girl junket.
Right.
And the rule was you had to ask at least one question about the actual movie.
Yeah.
And Affleck found out we were a game show, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I love video games. Let's go." And he's like, "Okay, we got to do the." He's like, "All right, let's do the movie question." So we do the one movie question. He answers it very and like waits like a beat and goes, "All right, let's talk about some fucking video games. When the hell is Doom 3 coming out, man?" And like, he was so into it. So it was, yeah,
that's a good story.
I got tons of junket stories.
Yeah.
But
so anyway, Matt, you concerned at all that Wolverine won't make it this year?
no.
Yeah, me either.
Insomniac.
Has Insomniac ever delayed something?
They have. I can't remember what, because we've had that conversation before. Like, have they ever delayed? And they have delayed something.
Was Fuse delayed? I think it might have been.
Fuse was definitely delayed because they redid a bunch of it. I want to say one of the Ratchet and Clanks slipped like a month once or something. Yeah. Like, they're not foolproof.
I mean, look, they had Rift Apart ready for the launch of the PS5.
Yeah. But I think
that game still hasn't really been outdone.
There are so many eyes on the Marvel games. There's so many people. I mean, I feel like you don't announce this unless you're sure.
Yep.
So
I can't really read it, so let me pop it up real quick. People got some comments. Jonathan
YouTube
Ramos,
is hard to read on the
white on black
on the
is hard
high
to
one,
see.
on the high monitor.
Jonathan Ramos 3949. Wolverine is the game I'm waiting for since I'm sure GTA will slip into 2027. Don't say that. Johnny McFly 43 says the game looks good, not as brutal as Dark Souls, more Devil May Cry, and some Arkham free flow. Can't wait.
Odds which is higher, GTA 6 being delayed is way more likely than Wolverine being delayed.
I would agree with that.
If only because GTA 6 caught fire this week.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
No. You mean their boiler caught on fire?
There's a fire at Rockstar.
At their office, I did see that. Yeah.
I'm like, that feels like a mission. Right?
Yeah.
That feels like something that would happen in GTA.
And Rigor Mortis UK, back on our marathon conversation, says marathon couldn't be a harder pass. Rigor Mortis, I think a lot of people are feeling exactly.
Yeah, I feel like that is not going to be a minority opinion.
I don't either. So anyway, there you go. That's Marvel's Wolverine coming in Q4. We do not have a hard date or even a month for that yet. So it could be October, November, December. We just don't know.
I think that's November.
Probably. That'd be my guess.
Could be September, but that's obviously Phantom Blade Zero. So usually they give a little space. So October, November feels the right.
Feels about
place.
right.
That's where Spider-Man goes.
And next up, another one that's an X Factor: Marvel Tokon Fighting Spirits, new Marvel tag team fighting game. This is exclusive to PS5 on consoles, also coming to PC. They've done 2 betas for this game already. We still don't have a solid release date for this year, although they're still saying it's coming this year. People in the fighting community do not seem to agree with that. They do not seem to think it's coming out.
Most people in the fighting game community, and I generally agree, is this game's a lot further out than you think. And part of that, I think, is because they're almost kind of figuring out how the game balances and how things should work as they beta test it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not a criticism. Like
that's a good way to do things.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the best way to make sure you come up with something that's balanced and has a long life because. Yeah. And the fact they're going to the community, they're getting direct feedback from the people who are going to make this thing a tournament darling, and they're really looking at like kind of the real world situation. No battle plan survives contact with the enemy, so to speak. Yeah. And they're really looking at what happens when all these systems they've put into play come into contact with tens of thousands of people. Yeah. And they're taking feedback seriously. And one of the other things I think they are taking seriously was the expectation of the roster size. Because it feels like this roster may be smaller than we were hoping. Because with a four person team, you're like, you need like a Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
You get through that roster real fast.
You'd be looking at I would say you'd be looking at 48 characters minimum. I mean, regardless of what 2XKO is doing.
JM Rain 99 coming in off the top rope. He was in the beta. He says the beta for this was fun. I'm not. It's stupid icons in front of
because the cursor's in front of it.
I'm not a huge online gamer. The gameplay was really deep, though. I felt there were tons of systems on top of the systems.
Yeah, you start to after you play a little bit, you start to see how everything kind of hooks together, and it's like it's a very good. It's not like if early on you're like, oh, the combos are auto combos, and you're like, no, it is a little bit like typing at first, but like you start to see how they all kind of link together and how the skill comes into it comes in with the linking, not the combo.
Yeah.
Like it's about knowing what you can do, what you can combo into, how you can finish, and what the best way to like get through things is. It's different. And I, unfortunately for that Invincible fighting game, I think it's doing what Invincible fighting game is doing, but like way more interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that one of the other things they're doing is that once they get kind of the balance of this sort of figured out, and they kind of figure out what a Marvel Tokon character should do, and how it integrates into the systems, it will be easier for them to expand the roster and maybe launch with something a little larger than they planned. Because you can't launch something like this with like 20 characters.
No way.
Like,
I mean, I'm saying it's what, 50-50 whether that comes out this year.
Yeah, that feels about right. I feel like Invincible and Marvel are pretty sketchy for this year. We probably will see the Avatar fighting game this year. That feels like that's pretty far along.
I think it's they're in betas as well right now.
Yeah, but like, which feels like a less high pressure situation.
Yeah.
Like, I think Marvel Tokon, like, that thing's got to come out swinging. Like, you're basically doing the successor of the Versus series here. They are clearly hoping this is going to have years of life in it, in the thing. And we'll see. I mean,
I hope they take their time and get it right.
I hope so, especially because the longer you take your time, the more we can maybe get like kind of this Evo situation settled, because there's a lot of controversy around Evo this year due to the Saudi money in that, and there's a bunch of commentators and LGBT pros that are just going to sit the whole thing out. I don't know. I mean, it's funny that we all thought like Sony buying the thing was going to be the corporate death of it, and then it turned out to be very different.
It was the Savvy Group.
So I don't know.
Yep. So anyway, that's about 50-50 whether that makes it out this year.
And for whatever it's worth, Insomniac did double down a couple months ago on saying fall 2026 for Wolverine. Like they swear.
I'm pretty confident, for sure.
I'm pretty certain we'll be playing Wolverine this fall,
which is very exciting. Next up, an indie game that's a PlayStation 5 exclusive is called Ballad of Antara. It is a free-to-play action RPG. We can't get enough of those anymore.
There's a lot of those going around.
It is set in dual realities where you must defend a faraway land on the verge of being lost to a conflict from eons ago. That's a description of that.
So it's
also.
A video game. That's what you're telling me.
As somebody who has to write a lot of descriptions for games, creating game pages on SIFTD, like that literally could be the description to 70% of the game pages that I create on the website. So it's a pretty generic description, but if you look at this B-roll, like if you compare this to stuff like Genshin Impact and Zenless Zone Zero, it's the same design and concept, but obviously with far more realistic and gritty visuals. So there might be a market for something like this.
Yeah. Swanman must know what this is called, and I already forgot.
What this is called?
Yeah.
Ballad of Antara.
Ballad of Antara.
Yeah.
Very memorable.
Yep, and there's no hard release date for that yet. But I think it was supposed to come out last year and was delayed, and so chances are pretty high it's going to make it this year. So we'll see, but I like seeing different concepts and aesthetics behind the free-to-play action RPG framework. I wish there were more, but here's one. And as of right now, it is a PlayStation console exclusive, though. My guess is that will change pretty quickly, because if you're a free-to-play game, you need that out on as many platforms as possible. So I don't know if PlayStation greases their palms a little bit to get an exclusive window, but generally, if you're making a free-to-play game, you don't want to be a console exclusive.
At the very least, there's no reason not to put it on PC.
Yeah, unless you're getting money-hatted, like, you definitely want to make sure. So we'll see, but we don't have a hard date for that yet, but I am pretty confident that that game will make it out this year. And now we're getting to...
Bushy Wookie says, I have already forgotten the name of this game.
Ballad of Antara.
Yeah.
And now we're getting to games that could come out this year, and in some cases...
That might be
likely.
the most quickly forgettable name since that one.
High Guard?
No, well, High Guard is also good. I'm talking about that EA one, the shooter, the fantasy tech shooter that was like by the new company. It was it was one of their almost indie projects, like joint things, and it was actually pretty cool.
It was a shooter?
It was like a shooter, but it was magic. And there was like 4 different schools of magic.
Oh, it was a first-person shooter where you cast magic.
Yeah,
and like, you're right. The title for that also.
And it was it was pretty cool, but like it bombed.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Immortals of Avium.
Yeah, there you go.
Ballad. Don't put of in your of is a
Arabic
weak
says
word.
pew fingers.
Legend of Zelda is the last. I mean, also, you know what? Legend of Zelda, not a great title.
It isn't actually, especially when you think that most people for decades later would think that Link was named Zelda.
Yeah, they think a lot of people think Link is Zelda.
Like most people who don't play games think Link is Zelda. There's no doubt about it.
I did see some people upset that in the movie they cast a girl as Zelda,
Oh, really?
which is very funny.
I can only imagine the comments underneath that comment. Next up, here's a big X Factor that probably should come out this year. It's Fair Games. The game that Massive has been working on, that Jade Raymond worked on before she left, like, it was not canceled when they canceled all the other service games. Like, this game should be just about done. But here's the thing, like, this is a heist shooter. It's not an extraction shooter. But could you see PlayStation putting out both Marathon and this game in the same year?
I mean, yeah, because Sony's been doing stupid shit like that. But would I do it? No.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But you're right. Maybe PlayStation would.
I mean, I would never have greenlit any of these things.
Yeah.
So.
This probably looks the most interesting of the things that they had shown when they kind of fell for the whole service game thing, and they decided to put all their studios on service games.
Yeah, but this also feels like chasing the payday rabbit, and like that's never worked out for anybody.
Yeah.
Even separate from Sony's like stupid game as a service.
Yeah.
Move.
This is like you take on contracts. It feels like it's kind of a cross between Hitman and Payday.
Yeah. Like you're trying to do the same heist against like other teams of players, basically.
Right. Yeah. This is more of like a techno-futurist look and feel though in this, which does appeal to me for whatever reason. But
you could definitely put this in the Watch Dogs universe.
Yeah, for sure. But we really have no idea when this game is coming out. Like, no idea at all. Like, I think they...
If it's coming out.
If it ever... It may still be canceled. But that game should be really far along. Should be about ready to release. We'll see if Sony has the guts or the stupidity, depending on your perspective, to do it. And then...
Sometimes the two are the same thing.
Yeah, it's true. It's a fine line. And then next, like, Matt, we're due for a new God of War, man. Like, we're overdue for a new God of War.
I think there's you'll probably start to see a little bit more as the TV show comes into focus.
Usually they're 4 years apart. God of War, the reboot, and Ragnarok. One was in 2018. The other is in 2022. So here we are at that 4-year gap again. Like, we are ready for a new God of War.
Maybe you're ready.
Well, I am. I love God of War.
I can wait for more God of War. I'm good.
Well, I would like to play more, and it's a big franchise.
They're gonna need a new idea, like some new place, some new thing. Like this. I think they've kind of wrapped this up.
Well, I think they have. Rumor is that it's gonna be set in Greece or whatever, and it's gonna go back to the roots or whatever. It could be like a prequel that
more
shows
Greek
you
gods. Go to Egypt already, for God's sake.
Well, I think maybe the rumor is that it's gonna show the origins of Kratos, which I feel like we kind of
saw that.
Yeah, we already
we've
did
seen
that.
that several times.
Yeah, I know.
There was a whole game about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not that anyone remembers that. Where's the? Why don't they do a collection? Why don't they put?
I thought they did do a collection
on the PS3.
Right.
But why don't they do a God of War
one?
1 through 3 plus whatever that one that no one remembers because it starts with an A and it. You remember what is Awakenings or Ascension? Got Ascension.
It's
remember
still called God of War though.
The prequel.
Yeah.
It was a prequel and like was not. I don't think it was by them. It was like a prequel and had like a multiplayer aspect or something.
Really? It wasn't made by Sony Santa Monica?
I don't think so.
It seemed like for a while.
It was like that Gears of War one that focused on Baird.
Right.
You know, it was at the same year, I think.
Yeah. Didn't they have the same subtitle? Origins or something?
No, it was Ascension.
Was it
God
Ascension?
of War Ascension it was the fourth one basically. But then there was like the Gears of War one was I think it also started with an A, but it wasn't Ascension. But like the old collections it was 1 through 3, 1 and 2, and the 2 PSP games, which are canon and are different stories. They should be included. Mm-hmm. And then you want to do 3. They have kept 3 more or less playable over the years. But it's weird that the old ones aren't really around on modern systems.
It is. But we are due for a God of War game. So we'll see. Like,
aren't they working on something else though? Like Santa Monica was working on something.
The other rumor is that they're working on a new IP, but then people think that new IP is actually a spin-off of God of War. So who knows?
I don't know about that. I mean, again, it feels like the focus should be on the TV show and getting a game out to coincide with that, which will be probably next year or so, because they did just announce the casting of Kratos.
Yeah.
He looks
Yeah,
looks like Kratos.
Fine.
Yeah, that'll work.
It actually was Thor from the game.
Yeah,
is now
he did play
playing
Thor.
Kratos.
At least he knows the property.
He does,
right?
that's
So-
for sure. Yeah. So anyway, this is not like a pipe dream. Like a new God of War is due. So we'll see. My guess is if it is going to happen this year, we'll learn about it pretty soon here. Like,
Judgment. Gears of War Judgment.
Yeah,
That was it.
that's what it is.
God, nobody remembers that.
Nope. So anyway, we'll see. I would put this at a 30% chance of happening because we haven't heard anything about it yet. If we had heard something about it...
Yeah, there's no God of War this year. No,
Yeah.
definitely not.
Yep, chances are slim. But there is a chance. It's not zero. So we'll see.
I think it probably is 0.
Really?
Yeah. There's no God of War this year. Because where you put it? The end of the year? Because the end of the
Yeah.
year is either Wolverine or GTA 6.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the thing, is PlayStation at this point puts out 2 games a year.
Pretty much.
So it's like...
Like maybe it could
How
be,
do you fit anything
Like maybe
in?
it could be February
Yeah.
or something next year.
Like,
but like
still fiscal year,
there's no place to
but
put a
in
God of War this
2027.
year.
We'll see.
Unless you want to drop it in July, like I'm not going to argue with that, but that's a weird place to put one of your AAAs.
Yep. Next up, what do you think about a Horizon game?
No,
No?
not anytime soon. I mean, they're working on that stupid MMO or whatever thing.
They're working on Horizon 3 and a Horizon MMO
Yeah.
at Guerrilla.
I think 3 is next PlayStation. PlayStation 6.
You think that'll be next you think will be the MMO?
Yeah.
From
If it comes
Guerrilla.
out, I think the MMO would be
If it doesn't
the
get
next thing.
canceled.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like that was the next game that went into development.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would make sense. I think best hope really is to see the first trailer for it this year.
Yeah, that's possible.
An MMO, it feels like you need more time. I don't feel like you can announce an MMO and then 3 months later release it and expect success. Like
No.
it feels like an MMO, you need to get it out to the people who care, and it takes time to do that. So I think you may need a little bit of a longer marketing cycle for a game like that.
And you got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Let's put it. I mean, I'm one of the biggest Horizon fans I know, and I have zero interest in that game.
Well, I'll be honest, like, I didn't think Guerrilla would be able to make an action RPG because it had only made first-person shooters, and it proved me wrong.
Oh, I don't care about that. I don't care about MMOs.
Oh, you just don't-
I
I
have
see.
zero interest in an MMO of anything.
I thought you were saying Guerrilla may not be good at making
No,
those games.
I don't care how good they are. I don't want to play that. I want to play.
I really
want,
don't either.
I want to play Aloy. I want to continue the story of Horizon. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit about playing random people in the world. Like that's not interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to advance anything.
Me either. I'm not a fan of MMOs, so yeah, the chances of that happening this year, 5% max.
Yeah,
next-
I think it's a good chance we see trailers.
Yeah.
But, like I think we'll start to see stuff from it. But
Yeah, maybe
de-
around
definitely
E3
not,
time.
definitely not coming out.
Not E3 time.
Yeah.
What's up with Media Molecule? What are they doing?
I don't know.
They're kind of due to show their next
They're
thing.
doing something.
Because they
like-
killed Dreams a while
Kill
ago.
Dreams a while. They hired some. I've heard some little. I've heard some chatter, but like nothing concrete.
Yeah. So that is something that we could look forward to seeing pretty soon here. Their new game should be showing up in the near future, probably around E3 time as well. And then just a couple extra things to consider here is the People Can Fly first-person shooter. That's the studio
right.
that made Bulletstorm. They're working on a game exclusively for PlayStation right now. And then Hideo Kojima's Physant, which has a 0% chance of coming out.
Yeah.
From him, he said it has 0%. So that's the landscape for PlayStation 5 in 2026. Much better and more encouraging than what we've seen from the last couple of years.
Well, sorta. I mean, there's still like 2 things in there I'm interested in.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
mean,
Phantom Blade Zero.
Saros and Wolverine are kind of it for
Yeah.
me.
I mean, I'll play Marathon. I'll probably play Phantom Blade
Godspeed.
Zero.
I mean, I'll play Phantom Blade Zero, but I don't expect it to be.
Yeah, me either.
You know,
I'm not expecting big
it's,
things from
It's not like the way I'd be anticipating a God of War or or the whatever else Cory Barlog's working on or Horizon 3 or
You probably noticed I didn't even bring up Intergalactic.
Intergalactic.
Because we already
Intergalactic
know
is
that is not happening.
way down the road.
Yeah, it's still
Way
a
down
couple
the
years
road.
away at least. So I didn't even bring that up. Brought up nothing from Naughty Dog, which
Yeah.
is what we've done this entire console generation.
Yeah, the only stuff like on par with like the big Sony stuff is Saros and Wolverine, and some people probably wouldn't agree with Saros on that.
Yeah, you're
But,
right.
Like,
Yep. Because a lot of people, again, Returnal did not sell very well. So
No, I mean, but I really liked it.
yeah,
so.
me too. Yep. But anyway, there you go. That is the 2026 PlayStation 5 preview right here on GameFace at SIFTD Games. Still, I think it's better than the last couple years for PlayStation. Mm-hmm. Just because we've had one
Well,
or
in
two
terms of
games,
volume, yes.
and now there's like 3 opportunities for something else to release during the year. But you're right, like everything's gonna clear out if it starts to look like Grand Theft Auto 6 is gonna make it, and PlayStation will know. They talk to Rockstar all the time. They're working on stuff behind the scenes with them to promote the game. They will know.
Yeah.
And if that does happen, you're right. PlayStation may just clear the decks and be like, we're just going to shove everything but
like
Wolverine into
that
next
could,
year.
I mean, they could push Wolverine. I feel like they probably. There's a lot of people saying that. I feel like you probably wouldn't because
No,
I don't think Marvel would be happy with that.
I don't think so. I don't think that they compete with each other at all. They're
Not so much. But like I
other
also,
than
I also
it's
think
money out of the market.
I also think you cannot do that, and basically, I don't think you can go to Marvel and be like, "We're moving your B-lister away from GTA."
Yeah.
No matter how realistic that statement is,
to Marvel,
to Marvel, they're just gonna be like, "Well, fuck you." Like, they're not gonna. They're not gonna tell.
We're Marvel, yeah.
Especially because it's not like this is the Blade game,
right?
Or like this is Wolverine,
which is one of their last cash cows, really.
I mean, Wolverine's probably still number 2 after Spider-Man in the Marvel stables.
Yeah. For sure.
And
we saw that with the
Deadpool
movie.
Like you say, this is the first like M-rated, like hardcore, like this is Wolverine being Wolverine game in literally a generation. No, the Wolverine Origins game was that.
Yeah,
it was definitely that.
Kinda.
That was a real Wolverine game.
Yeah,
it covered a lot of the same stuff.
It did.
It went deeper into comic related stuff than the movie. I mean, Raven.
I am not violent.
It was hugely violent. It was. Yeah,
I guess maybe the fidelity makes this game seem more so.
Your skin got ripped off in that
That's
game.
True.
Like you cut everyone's limbs and heads off. Like that game was God of War level violent.
Yeah.
Because the movie was supposed to be rated R.
And the game was but they built it to match the movie. And then they nerfed the movie.
They nerfed the movie, delayed it by a year, and they're like, we want you to make the game T-rated. And they're like, well, we'd have to basically remake the game. And they're like, well, we don't want to pay for that, so just make it polished. So they spent a year polishing it, and that's why Wolverine Origins is so good.
Yeah.
The game, not the movie. The movie's not good.
All right, well, there you go. That's our preview for PlayStation 5 for 2026. Next up, we're going to talk very briefly about the Switch 2 version of Animal Crossing New Horizons. So Nintendo sent me a code. To upgrade from the Switch 1 version to Switch 2 is only $5. So it is very cheap. Somehow, Matt, I never got the memo that I was supposed to do something with the Switch 1 version of Animal Crossing New Horizons. Like, I was supposed to have set it up so that the island was being backed up to the cloud. I didn't know I was supposed to do that. Honestly, I don't even know if I did or if I didn't. But the bottom line is, my island is gone.
Oop.
So, when I bought my Switch 2, I wiped my Switch 1. I think my wife sold it on eBay or whatever. It's gone. And apparently I needed to do something before I lost my Switch 1, and I needed to like set up a bunch of stuff.
Because it's all tied to the actual hardware, huh?
It is. And so I got the code from Nintendo, I downloaded everything, and my island is gone. All my hours that I spent on that island are gone. And I went online, I read a couple things. Someone said that they had the same problem, and they contacted Nintendo. And somehow Nintendo got their island back, but it would only work on Switch 1. And so they still had their Switch 1, and they were able to download it and keep playing it on their Switch 1, but not Switch 2. I can't do anything with it. So I basically would have to start the whole thing all over again.
Well, that ain't happening.
And that is not happening.
Well, you're going to tell me you're not defending the Wolverine Origins movie. Come on. That's probably the worst.
Wolverine Origins, no good. Those fighting words, Matt. LOL.
The movie is probably the worst Fox X-Men movie. Like that's saying something. Some of those are terrible.
Here's the thing with this, Matt. Like, it should just be obvious. Like, it should. Like, when I went to wipe my Switch 1, there should have been some message that popped up that said, "Hey, you might want to do X, Y, and Z with your Animal Crossing save, because if you don't, it's lost forever, Shane." Nothing like that happened. I wiped my Switch 1. Before I did that, though, I did make sure to go and upload all my cloud saves. I made sure that I went into the settings and made sure I did one last upload of all my saves on my console to the cloud. That all worked fine. It worked no problem, but nobody alerted me that you need to apparently save the game and also save the island separately.
Wow.
And I had no idea.
I mean, it's probably just because they never planned for that to be a thing you could do. It's probably. They probably backed that in to the
Yep.
game somehow. But yeah, it's weird that when you like load up or do something to get the upgrade, it doesn't warn you that like, hey, you're gonna need to do this before this.
There was nothing. And I wouldn't even have known what was going on because the game itself kept sending me in a loop. It kept saying, hey, go do this and then come back. I would go do that and come back and it still wouldn't work.
Yeah, and I think it's also because like, I mean, as I recall, the save for that is tied to your individual Switch console.
It is.
Like
It's tied to the hardware.
It's not in the cloud. It's not like something you could copy and put on something. Like it is tied to that, so you can't manipulate it or mess with it.
Yep.
Because God forbid
Someone gives you a
anyone
fish.
cheat at Animal Crossing.
In a non-multiplayer game. Well, actually, one of the big features for this, the new Switch 2 version, is multiplayer. And you can play with up to 11 other players. But otherwise, again, it's only $5, so it's not like it costs a lot. But you get the 4K graphics upgrade, you get mouse support, you get 12-player online sessions, and you get this item in the game that's a megaphone. And you can yell into the microphone on your Switch 2, yell a villager's name, and the villager will be like, bro, I'm over here. Which is kind of cool, because you don't have to go searching for them and find them on the island. They tell you where they are. But that's it. That's what you get for the $5. Now, there's also a free update that's launching for both Switch and Switch 2. That's a ton of stuff. There's like a resort hotel. There's a bunch of new island specialties. There's this place called Slumber Island. There's a thing called Rossetti's Reset Service. There is a step mechanic. There's a bunch of stuff that comes for free with this new update. But as far as the things they are upgrading for Switch 2 are very minimal. The graphic upgrade to 4K, not that drastic.
No kidding.
You really have to squint your eye to see it. The only way you really notice the difference is in the photo mode. Like the photos don't have like stair-stepping and jaggies in them. Like they're all anti-aliased. And the photos on the Switch 1 have the stair-stepping. But otherwise, it's really hard to tell the difference. So is the $5 worth it? Well, the one thing I would say is make sure you cover your butt like I did not. Otherwise, you're wasting your $5. Thank God Nintendo sent me this to me and I didn't waste my money. But number two, for $5, you can't ask for much, and I would argue that what you're getting for $5 is probably worth it.
I mean, I guess I would look. I mean, my island on this is probably the fucking Lord of the Flies.
Oh, I wanted to see it. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, what does my island look like now?
Like everyone's just like in tattered clothes. Like, where have you been?
Like they're all
No
like,
one knows how to weed.
They're all skinny and emaciated and like haven't shaved in like 4 years.
Tom Nook's eaten 3 of them because they couldn't pay their fucking rent. Like,
I wanted it, Matt. I wanted to see that. I was, and it did not happen. So just a word of caution. Like if you're like me and you sold your Switch 1 and you have a Switch 2 and you didn't back all that stuff up, you're screwed. I mean, you may want to start over again. I did not.
No, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I probably would never load that game.
Yeah.
Although now you said that, I'm tempted to go get the Switch 1 and just like do that just in
See it.
case.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Just to save your butt and make sure.
Yeah, just to get that set up.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I didn't get rid of my Switch 1 yet, but I certainly considered it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the only reason I didn't because I didn't want to go through the trouble of wiping everything
Right.
off it.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Animal Crossing New Horizons on Switch 2. Again, don't forget, there is a new update for everybody. So if you're just a fan who maybe quit playing it for a while because you burned out on it, like, the stuff that they added for free is significant. So it's probably worth it if you're a big fan of the franchise.
Unless
or
there's
the
more
game.
fossils, I don't care.
Yeah, seriously.
Every Animal Crossing, that's what I collect all the fossils, and once I have all the fossils, I just sort of don't care anymore.
Yeah, once I
walk
put them
away.
in the museum and everything,
Like,
I'm good.
well.
Mission accomplished.
Miller time.
That's fair.
And that's it.
Yep. So anyway, there you go. That is the latest on Animal Crossing New Horizons for Switch 2. Next up, we're going to talk about Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. Remember last week, Matt, I said, I'm going to go check the early access channel on SIFTD for content for next week's show. Here it is.
Yeah.
There is a demo available right now for Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. And Matt, I will say, this is a drastic reimagining of Dragon
they
Quest
have
VII.
definitely addressed the problems.
They really
of it.
have. It is extreme. Like the difference between the PS1 original and the 3DS port that eventually came out and this game is like night and day. They've completely redone kind of the whole aesthetic of the game and created this diorama style graphics for the game. Also, the overall art style, as you can see, like this is CG, but the game looks like this too. Like all the characters in this look like they're made out of like vinyl.
Yeah.
Like they're like figurines or something like that.
Yeah, they look like what are they called? I forgot the name. There's a specific line of Japanese like superposable, like super deformed figures that like I have the Geralt, the Witcher 3 one of it, and they look like that a little bit. It's a little creepy.
It is, but I'll be honest with you. Once I got used to it, I liked it.
Yeah, it is. It is a reasonable thing to do with the art style, with the Toriyama art style.
Once I got used to it, I got excited to see the Dragon Quest monsters in that art style. And it's crazy. Like, their eyeballs are... It's hard to explain. As you play the game more and more, you start to get more excited to see how they've interpreted all the traditional Dragon Quest stuff into that
Nendoroids. That's it. Justin Horman got it.
Nendoroids. Good job, Justin. What a pull. That's amazing.
I mean, the Geralt figure is pretty famous.
Oh, it is?
Because they come with all these alternate faces and alternate stuff. And famously, the Geralt one comes with a separate Geralt in the bathtub accessory.
Gotcha. Well, that'll make people remember it.
Everybody loves referencing that.
Yep.
So.
I'll say this, though, Matt. I went back and checked out some footage of the PS1 and the 3DS version of this game. And this game looked good on those platforms as well. For the time,
yeah, it did.
I mean, this is a drastic upgrade.
This got kind of roasted on the PS1 because it was mostly 2D, and that wasn't, it wasn't all 2D. It was a lot of 3D stuff, but they were trying to emulate the 2D Dragon Quest stuff with 3D a little bit.
Yeah,
and it was like, oh, it looks so archaic, and it's like a top down. In the wake of Final Fantasy VII, everybody expected everything to look like that, and this was like a hard sell kind of thing.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it. At the time, I just thought the load times made it kind of unplayable after a while because it took so long to load a battle and load a thing, and let me just. CDs.
There are loads in this game too.
Yeah, but probably not like that.
No, but they're still silly. Like, you go inside to a building and there's a load.
Sure. But you're not sitting there waiting like 15 seconds for a battle.
It takes like 2 seconds or 3 seconds. And battles load pretty much instantaneously.
They better.
Yeah. But otherwise,
this is a very good choice for a redo.
It is. It makes a drastic difference. The other thing I would say, too, is that, other than the graphics in this is pretty much a moment-to-moment remake of the game.
As they have been.
Yeah. I went back and, like I said, I started watching some footage of the PS1, and I watched the first hour of that, and it was identical to playing the first hour of the demo of this. So, to be fair, it hasn't changed so much that if you've already played this, it might be worth playing again. Because the actual nuts and bolts of the game haven't changed that much. It's really just the aesthetics.
Although if you haven't played it in 30 years.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then maybe.
Which I haven't.
Yeah,
I didn't play
most people haven't. Yeah.
I did not play the DS remake.
Yeah, and they're it was 3DS, but they're adding a bunch of stuff to this game as well. Even though it is pretty much moment to moment the same, there's other things that are being added. Like they're adding backstories to a lot of your party members. They've added some new scenarios. I didn't get to any of that in the time that I played the demo. They've also reordered some of the episodes in the game to make them optional to increase the pacing of the game because it was kind of slow at first. They've added visible enemies now out in the overworld.
I remember that was a...
So you can avoid...
It's like, so there's still random battles you can't... I'm like, that was in Final Fantasy 2, you dips.
Yeah.
They don't... but yeah, visible enemies on the map seems to be the hotness here.
Yeah, for the most part, you can avoid them out in the overworld. They're pretty fast, but if you're smart and cunning, you can kind of get around them.
Although they didn't do that for 1, 2, and 3.
No, they didn't. So. And it has the same mechanic that a lot of RPGs have, where if you see an enemy in the overworld, if you get behind them and attack, you get first attack in the battle. That's pretty much part and parcel for RPGs at this point.
Thanks, Persona.
Yep.
That's what we are now.
Pretty much. You can set your whole party to auto battle. So once I figured out what I wanted to do with my party, I didn't have to do anything. We just go into battle and they just handle it. And you can monitor your health meters. If you get low, you can jump in and take manual control and heal one of your characters if you want. But basically, you can set up each party member to do what you want. There's 5 or 6 different commands that you can give them. You can also see in the top right there, you can hit circle at any time, and you can chat with your party members, and they'll add context to what you're doing, give you hints on where you need to go, although I would argue that it's pretty obvious where you need to go and what you need to do in this, because there's just waypoints everywhere. There's quality of life updates, there's shared inventory now, which you didn't have before, which is a pretty big deal. There's more difficulty options. There's a revamped vocation system. There's new starter vocations. You can immediately advance tiers. There's a new moonlighting system that lets you equip 2 jobs at once to create unique job combos. There's a new mechanic in the combat called Worked Up, and I haven't quite figured out how this works, but like in the middle of battle, your character will just get all angry and like just get all pumped up, and then they do an attack that does like a bunch of more damage, and it's like elemental. But it doesn't feel like you have any control over when that happens. It just kind of organically happens throughout the course of battles. There's nuances to this game I have not quite figured out yet based upon the time that I had to play, unfortunately. Weapons and gear are slow. That has not changed from the original. Like, I played for 2 hours and I got 1 helmet. And that was pretty much it. And the other thing, too, I would say is, like, I found an outfit, but the outfit doesn't change the look of your character.
Yeah, generally Dragon Quest does not do that.
However, one thing they did change for this, in the original, weapons and armor didn't show up. In this, they do. So if you have a shield or a weapon, those actually show up in real time. But the outfits do not. What else? They added quests to every town, so if you go into a town now, there's little side quests that you can do that helps flesh out the world, and they completely remastered the soundtrack and redid it, and it sounds amazing. I got to play, like I said, about 2 hours of this. The demo is pretty robust. The demo, your save will also carry over to the final game, so you're not wasting your time if you're playing it, other than just having the fun that you have. You won't have to play it all over again. It's a dungeon crawl. You go down into dungeons, and you just keep going down, down, down. The difficulty in this could probably use a little bit of a bump. Like
I'm sure there will be an option.
Yeah, once I set up auto combat, like my party was just walking through pretty much every skirmish. I don't think I ever got close to dying in the 2 hours that I played it. So they could probably bump up the difficulty a little bit, but that's an easy tweak, an easy change that they could do without much work. So... there's puzzles. I was surprised. I had forgotten how many puzzles there are in this. But they're very simple. Again, just like the combat, like the puzzles in this are like, I don't know, they're for like 3-year-olds. I'm not sure if that was the target audience for this game when it came out in 2001, but...
Not really. Did this come out in 2001?
I think so, yeah.
I thought it was 90s, because it's a PS1 game.
2001. Came out for PS1.
God, I swear I had this, like, in my dorm room.
Then it came out for 3DS and then mobile after 3DS.
Oh.
That's what I have in my notes anyway. That would be late for the PS1 life cycle, though, you're right. 2001. That would be one of the last games released for PS1, basically. Or one of the... At least part of the last rush of games, for sure.
Released in 2001 in North America.
Yeah.
So I don't remember when it was...
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of the Japanese...
Probably. Yeah.
Release, because that was like I think that was no, it was released in 2000 in Japan. Yeah, that's crazy.
But there you can see all the options that you can give your party members: show no mercy, fight wisely, mix it up, focus on healing, don't use MP, follow orders. So you have actually 6 different commands that you can give your party, and it, like I said, you can basically set up each one. Eventually, I had like 5 people in my party, and I had them all set up, and we just went into battle, and I just watched the battle happen. And again, like, the big attacks, like the elemental stuff, appear to just happen on their own. Like, I didn't really have to do anything to make those things happen. So I found that kind of interesting. But I had a good time playing this, and I totally got sucked into the plot. I didn't even really give a synopsis of the plot. Basically, you've been living on this island your entire life, and the elders on your island have told you that there's nothing else out there. That the island is all that exists in the world. And people tell you, I got on a boat and I started sailing across the ocean and we sailed for 2 weeks and never saw anything. The elders are right. And so you and your friends are trying to prove that there is something beyond the island that you've been living on all this time. Mm-hmm. And the irony is, one of the early twists is that you think you have to leave the island to do something. I don't want to spoil anything. To do something, as it turns out, what you needed to do was on the island all along, which, if you're the player, is seeding in your mind, hey, maybe this island is the only place you can go. So that's sort of the base plot of the game. As you get further into this game, it spirals into a bunch of different things, but that's sort of that's the setup and sort of what sets everything in motion. So Dragon Quest VII Reimagined is coming to PC, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5, I believe. No, sorry. It's coming to PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and both Switch consoles. It's coming to Switch 1 and Switch 2, which is weird, I thought.
So there'll be a Switch 2 enhanced version?
I guess, yeah. So I was surprised. I figured there'd be a PS4 version. This is a Japanese game, but that is absolutely not the case.
I mean, isn't this Unreal 5?
I think this is made in Unreal, yep.
Maybe there's an optimization issue.
That could be. You're right, actually. Yep, I want to jump forward to some B-roll here. So you can start seeing what I'm talking about with the characters. Like how you want to see what they look like in this art style. That really drove me forward. There you can see the elemental attack.
It almost looks like those what are those photos where they do like the image tilting, where it makes like real life footage of stuff look like toys.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. But
I can't remember what, something tilting.
Yeah. But this art style, at first, it kind of turned me off. As I played it more, it grew on me, and I started to like it and look forward to seeing.
It actually kind of reminds me of Pikmin.
A little bit.
A little bit, like the hyper real, tiny stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like it's the diorama kind of thing.
Yeah. But here you can see you can't always avoid battles. Like
tilt shifting. That's
shifting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Zed Saber says Siphon Filter 3 was released in 2001. Yep. So anyway, that's Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. There's a demo available on all platforms right now. You can go and play it for yourself. I played a couple hours of it, and it just kept going and going. I don't know where it actually ends. I just ran out of time and couldn't play it anymore. But this is also coming out here in the next month or two. I did not take down the release date, which is a mistake, and I apologize for that. But it's coming out soon, which is why obviously there's a playable demo for it already. If you've never played Dragon Quest VII, I can already tell you this is a superior version of the game.
Yeah.
So if you're a Dragon Quest
I don't
fan,
think this is one of the best Dragon Quests.
Yeah,
but
its Metacritic was like an 8 when I checked it out. So,
but I think it was the first one to come to America since 3. I think.
Yeah, there's that huge gap where we weren't getting Dragon Quest.
Yeah, it was only
games.
the 4th Dragon Quest game to come here.
Yeah,
and it was the last one released as Dragon Warrior. And after Final Fantasy VII, they were just like, yeah, we're just going to call it 7. You missed 4 through 6. Just screw you.
Yeah, I mean, the Final Fantasy stuff got a little confusing in America there.
And then eventually Nintendo got, I think, all of them on the handhelds. So from Game Boy Color through 3DS, you could play all the Dragon Quests if you had all of it. So they got the whole series out in North America finally on the whole run of Nintendo handhelds.
Yep.
But now I can get behind doing all of them under the reimagined / HD2D remake thing.
I mean, Square Enix is doing a good job with this remake for sure. Like across the board, it is giving its games the right
This is way better than what they did to Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
And I do mean two Final Fantasy. Those pixel remasters are horrendous.
That's a good way to put it.
I would love to see them give Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6 this kind of treatment.
Yeah. The other thing I should mention too is that when you level up in this game, you don't have any control over it. So you're not assigning points or anything like that. It levels up automatically, and that's all there is to it. This game also has some of these weird puzzles where you're pushing these balls around. Do you remember these puzzles? Yeah. It's a big part of the game. It's like once you encounter your first one, they keep showing up over and over again, increasing difficulties.
Dragon Quest is not afraid to make you do something 1,000 times. That's certainly true.
Yeah, it starts to settle into okay, these are the puzzles that you are going to have to deal with for the rest of the game.
These are the jokes, people. Here we go. Yeah.
Pretty much. And they get more and more complicated. But I do like how they've kind of split the whole game up into this.
Not that one.
Yeah, I know. Hit the wrong one. The diorama art style in this works really well. It makes each kind of room feel self-contained, and it lets you know, all I got to do is solve this and not worry about the other parts of the game.
Yeah, there's a little Marble Madness going on.
Yeah. In this section here with these puzzles, yeah. And they start to get more complicated, as you can see here. They start...
There's a point at which in real life I think it's be fuck you.
Exactly.
I'm leaving. Whatever this is not worth it. There's only one island in the world, guys. That's how I've determined it.
It ramps up real quick. So anyway, there you go. That is Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. Again, it's coming soon to pretty much every platform, at least all the recent platforms, and Switch 1 in addition to Switch 2. Okay, our final topic for GameFace this week is something we wanted to talk about in last week's show, but I really did a poor job. First of all, last week's episode was just a disaster. Everything about it was just a mess. I'm glad we got through the episode. I'm glad you guys stuck around. It seemed like most of you guys liked the episode when you watched the archive after I did a little finagling in post-production. But anyway, I had stacked the show stupidly, in all honesty. The first topic that I had put in the show was talking about Vince Zampella. And after we went through the intro of the show and everything, it just didn't feel right talking about it at that point. And then I was like, I want to go back to it, and the show just kind of happened, and we never did. So I do want to talk about Vince Zampella today on the show. Pactor did a great job. Did you watch that episode of Pactor
No.
Factor? He gave a great eulogy for Vince. Pactor and Vince were close. They texted and called each other all the time. When we did the 100th episode of Pactor Factor, and I was calling around all my contacts trying to get people to contribute questions, because that's what that episode was, like luminaries in the industry asking Pactor questions. When I was working on that, somehow word got to Vince Zampella that I was doing it, and he reached out to me and said, here's my question, here's the video of my question. I didn't have to ask him anything. He just sent me an email and was like, Shane, I hear you're working on this for Pactor, here's my question and here's the video file. And I didn't have to do anything. So those guys are close. And if you haven't already sort of watched the episode of Pactor Factor where Pactor talks about Vince, I highly recommend you do it. They knew each other on a personal level that at least I didn't know Vince on.
Yeah. Like, I knew him from doing all the Call of Duty reviews and because people I knew who worked there and stuff. But we weren't hang out outside of gaming world friends or anything. But I liked him very much. I always enjoyed seeing him.
I wouldn't call Vince a friend. I mean, he definitely wouldn't call me a friend. Like, I would call him an acquaintance.
Yeah, 100%.
We've known each other for a long time.
I met him at the Call of Duty 1 reveal event, I think.
Yep.
And
I had met him before that. When I really got to know him, though, oddly enough, with Keely on the screen right now, Jeff and I were invited to this thing at Treyarch that at the time we didn't know anybody else was not invited to. And we go there, and they take us down into the basement, into their theater, and in walks Vince. And Vince is like, hey, what's up? And we're like, what's up? Like, what are we here for? And he's like, I got something to show you.
You're
guys.
allowed at Treyarch?
And he was there. Yeah. Well, it was Modern Warfare 4. It was Call of Duty Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. They just showed it in the basement of Treyarch.
Oh, the feud hadn't happened yet.
Right.
Okay.
And so he walks in. He's like, oh, I got this thing I want to show you guys. Because see, at that time, Keely and I were kind of like a package deal. Like, we would go to things together, and he would work out how they're going to cover something in the show, and then I would work out how we would use all the assets that they're going to give us to do stuff on the website. And so he and I were kind of a package deal. And so he and I walked in there, and he's like, I got something to show you. He's like, we are completely reworking Call of Duty to put it in the modern age, and I want to show it to you guys. And he showed us Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, just me and Jeff and him, and Lamia was there from Treyarch as well. And he showed it to we were just blown away. And that was like the moment. I don't know if we were the first people to see it. We were some of the first journalists to see it for sure. And that moment kind of solidified our relationship. So from then on, like at all the Call of Duty review events and all that kind of stuff, like he would always come over and talk to me. He'd want to get my personal feedback on the game at the end of the night when I'd be sitting at the bar drinking. He'd come up and get a drink and sit next to me and be like, what are you thinking? How you feeling about it? And then just working with Pactor throughout all the years, like I don't think he would call me a friend, but if I walked up to him, he would be like, hey, Shane. Like, he knew me.
Like, I knew them from the reviews. I would go to the office and review it because they wouldn't let it out, basically. And they picked who was allowed to review that for like launch at 360 for Call of Duty 2. And I remember them saying at Call of Duty, because I was handled by the like the community rep, but when at lunchtime and when I was out of the room, Vince and Jason West, the other founder, would come and talk to me and hang out. And I remember they told me during the Call of Duty 2 lunch about how they really want to do a modern one, but they don't know when they're going to get to do that. And then Call of Duty 2, I remember they were very interested. Like, what do you think? Is it? Do you think? And then for Call of Duty 4 for Modern Warfare, I came out and they're like, pretty fucking great, isn't it? like they knew what they had.
Yeah, I mean, how could
100%.
they not? I mean, Jeff and I were blown away, man. Like, we were speechless after they showed it to us. We were just like, what did we just see?
I was like, I don't know what to say.
I think the first thing I said to him is was that real? Because they didn't play it in front of us. They showed us a video of it. And I was like, is that real? And he's like, oh, he started laughing. He's like, oh, it's real.
Yeah. I will always remember, and this doesn't come through on the video copy of this, I was always remember the Microsoft press conference at that like Santa Monica High School like amphitheater thing. Yeah, they showed all gillied up, and when those two guys stand up in the ghillie suits, the whole audience gasped. Yeah, like the reaction in the crowd was like you could feel it. Like everyone go, oh, what the? And like you can't hear that on the video record. Like that's up there of that, but it was like being there was like, oh there's something special happening.
Yeah.
It was one of those like moments you remember, like revealing like the Ocarina, the Twilight Princess trailer and stuff.
Now Vince to me was kind of introverted and quiet.
Yeah.
when he would go to events, he would come up and talk to me, but you didn't see him like work in the room.
No,
or
he was not a he's not a big personality.
He wasn't a marketer.
No, he's not marketing.
He made great games.
And he's not like he's not a Cliff
Yeah,
Blazinski.
he was
he's
not.
He's not a Dave.
He wasn't interested in being in the spotlight.
He's not a Dave Jaffe.
No,
he's not. He's just really good.
He's
at what
like,
he
I want to
did.
make great games. I
Yeah.
hope you agree that the game I made is great. And that
Yeah.
was pretty much the conversation he wanted to have with you about his games in particular.
And the other thing I would say is that even after they became super ultra successful and he sold Respawn, became super. He never stopped being like a pretty regular dude.
No, he never
he was just a dude. I
He
mean, yes, he
never
was a
changed.
dude who drove $1 million car.
Yeah.
But he was a regular dude.
He was worth like, I don't know, half $500 million maybe.
Few hundred million, I think.
I mean,
after the sale of Respawn.
After the sale of Call of Duty, don't forget they got paid out by Activision like $200 million, him and Jason West or whatever. And then he went to Respawn and
He had
sold
to fight for that one.
He did, but he got
did
it. I mean, and you would never know. And here's what
No.
I was getting at when I was saying earlier is like, to me, he was this quiet, introverted guy. But if you talk to Pactor about him, he was a completely different guy. Like, who was calling and ribbing Pactor all the time, making jokes. I've talked before about how he recently made fun of Pactor for driving a Porsche. He's like, why are you driving that little putt-putt? He's like, why aren't you driving a real car?
Well, that's the thing is like his Vince's car collection is up on, I think it's exoticcarcollections.com. It's like basically where rich guys like put
Go and
pictures
show
of all
their
car.
trophies, yeah.
And his collection was up there. I don't think he had anything in a Porsche really would be too normal
Like
for
a
his
Ford
collection.
Escort.
Yeah, it would be like having like a Hyundai in a collection of
Seriously.
Porsches. It was like,
Or a Kia.
he had Bugattis and I mean these like almost one of a kind, like things that were like there's like 20 of them in
Right.
the world kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like this man had a very specific taste.
He loved motorsport.
He did.
And
He
I
loved
actually-
motorsport. He liked motorcycle. I mean, you can see how he's dressed. He's got the.
Yeah.
He looks like someone who's about to step into Gran Turismo.
I didn't know that about him until Pactor started talking about him, because that's
Yeah.
a lot of their conversations were about cars or just
We did
rich
talk-
guy conversations about scotch.
I
and-
mostly would see. So the last time I saw Vince was actually at Pactor's party in the last
Yeah.
E3 2019, and we were and we talked about cars stuff. But that was the year that Pactor gave all the luminary guys their own bottles of alcohol
at the bar, yeah.
and he's like, I got this $1,000 bottle of tequila behind the bar. You want to try it? I don't know what $1,000
Yeah.
tequila. I'm like, yeah, I want to try it. So we had him pour his thing, and we had like shots of the tequila, and it was like everyone's had tequila. We all know it tastes like some kind of like jet fuel, basically, right? This stuff.
You couldn't taste the tequila.
It tasted like slightly spicy agave water.
Uh-huh.
It was the smoothest thing I've ever had, and I'm like, oh
Like
my
$1,000
god!
a
And he's
bottle.
like, you could get drunk beyond recognition on this and not know you were drinking alcohol. I'm like, it was
Yeah.
incredible. He's like, I'm gonna get some of this shit. I'm like, that was the kind of person Vince was. He's like, it's like I haven't tried my $1,000 tequila yet. You want to try it with me? It's just like.
Yeah.
What kind of, he
He
didn't
was
have
a
to-
really,
he didn't
really
he didn't have to
good
do that
guy.
with me. He didn't know that, but that was the last time I saw him, and I always remember that because it was like a special little like thing. I've never had high end alcohol like that. Like I don't spend that kind of money on that
Anything.
stuff. Well, I got $1,000 Transformers.
Right, yeah.
I do spend it on certain things.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't buy $1,000 bottle of
anything.
alcohol.
Yeah, me either. But the bottom line is he was just a really, really nice guy. You'd never know that he created Call of Duty or Apex Legends or Titanfall or two studios. Like he's just
And
a
he knew
dude.
exactly who to do the weak Porsche.
Oh,
joke
yeah,
too.
of
Like,
course.
he
Yeah,
knew
yeah.
Pactor was. He knew Pactor
Yeah.
was that kind of guy who could
Yeah.
take it.
He would
He
never
wouldn't
say
do that
to
to
me.
a normal person.
No, definitely not. Like he knows that he understands scruples and things like that.
Yeah, he I know I can hear him saying that to him, and it's like it's not just like making fun of someone who has a different taste in cars as him. It's him making fun of the fact that they're both like rich weirdos who
yeah.
like buy these things.
it's like, what else are we gonna do with our money?
he's
type
taking
guy.
the piss out of himself at the same
yeah,
time he does
definitely.
that. So.
So it is very sad what happened. We're not going to
Yeah.
talk about the accident and all that stuff. Although it is strange that we still don't know who else was in the car with him after all this time.
Yeah, I mean,
Very weird.
I found some things out, but they're not confirmed enough
Yeah.
for me to say them on a podcast. I don't
Yeah.
think. I will say that I do know that stretch of road to some degree. It is a place that a bunch, people hot dog in their exotic cars a lot. It's a very dangerous turn because you're coming out of a tunnel
that could
and
blind
you're blinded a little bit if
Yeah.
the sun's in the right place, and that turn is right there. And the problem is that like they've never like set that. If you go there right now, and there's skid marks everywhere, not just from like
people
like,
intentionally burning out.
So there is a video from years ago of this guy. He's driving, I think it's an SUV. It's just dash cam videos. He's driving an SUV and he comes out of that tunnel and he sees the turn and didn't see it before because of the glare, and just almost drives off the cliff, like turns, like skids to the left, and almost goes off. Now, if you go and watch Jurassic World Dominion, in the montage near the beginning where they're showing dinosaurs living in the real world, like they've escaped and they live in the world, there's a clip of a car coming out of a tunnel and almost hitting a stegosaurus. That's that clip. That's that curve.
Wow.
Someone licensed that footage from, I guess, from the guy in the car, and ILM just dropped a stegosaurus in the road, and that they made it so that why he skidded off.
That's
so
crazy.
that actual clip is in that movie.
Wow.
So it's just a, you know, it's just a very dangerous stretch of road in that one part of that one tunnel.
Yeah.
And when you're in there, I mean, look, I drive fast. I drive, you know, fancy cars sometimes. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. But like, it's just like this risk you run, and like you got to know when and when not.
And that was it. It doesn't look like that was his car.
I don't think it was, because like I said, I don't think he'd own
It's
a
too
Ferrari.
cheap for him.
Literally, it
I
is
hate
too
to
cheap.
say it, but
it is true though. I think
Yeah.
it'll be too cheap for his collection. I feel like he was driving someone else's car to see how, because it is a 2026 like brand new Ferrari. It was a
New car.
Like it might have been one of the first ones of that model in the U.S.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
And there are questions about how the guardrails are
the
set up
guardrail is
there,
very
and,
weird.
like-
It's one of those concrete divider things, and like it's set up there because there's a retaining wall to prevent a landslide basically.
Yeah.
But because there's so many accidents coming out of that tunnel, there's a guard, like a concrete guard thing there to stop you from damaging the retaining wall. If you not hit that, right, you want to damage the guard. But the guardrail isn't
As
like
an end.
It just ends. It's not like
It
taper.
doesn't
It's not
off the
tapered
wall.
into the or
Yeah.
just extended all the way to the tunnel.
It's
would
really
be what I do.
stupid.
And so you hit the edge of that guardrail, and that car just disintegrates, and there's
Yeah.
nothing you can do about it. And like, it's a completely avoidable but also completely understandable like accident in terms of like, because again, that tunnel is hard. That's a hard turn, even if you are not speeding.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Especially with the lighting coming out.
Yeah.
It takes a second for your eyes to adjust
It's
to
not.
the light.
It's not a safe setup as a road with that barrier. Like it was a recipe for that. And like as I say, go look at Google Street View of that stretch from any time, and there's skid marks everywhere.
They are.
From
You can
not
see- you
just
can see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not just from people driving recklessly.
Yeah.
Like there's people that are not doing anything wrong or weird or
speeding or whatever.
anything, and they just get caught off guard by the thing coming out of that tunnel. It's a hard turn.
Yeah.
So
anyway, Vince Zampella, rest in peace, brother.
Yep.
Thank you for everything you did. I mean, it's amazing the stuff that he did. In
yeah,
his
the one
career.
thing you gotta say, that man, you don't get to point at one person and say they changed an entire medium.
But he did.
He actually changed more than one. I mean, Call of Duty changed pop culture forever.
Yeah.
He created some, and man, he and Jason West. I mean, they made Medal of Honor Allied Assault. Like they were already there, and then EA was such a bunch of jerks that they went off and they're like, we're gonna go make our own Medal of Honor with hookers and blackjack.
He
And
also
they did.
made a battle royale for adults.
Yeah.
Everyone else playing Fortnite, he made one that appealed to older players. Titanfall with the traversal and all the
Titanfall,
stuff in that. I mean,
fantastic.
you can go on and on.
Had the
So,
foresight to do the Jedi game. I mean, and remember, Lucasfilm didn't want to do that.
I know.
He and Stig, as I recall, had to fight for Jedi. Like Lucasfilm said to them, I still can't believe. I mean, I do believe it because I worked with Lucasfilm at the same time for other things.
Yeah.
So I do believe this, but like apparently Lucasfilm said to them that they hadn't earned a Jedi, they're like. We're going to make a Star Wars game. We're making it about Jedi, dude.
Yeah,
Come on, man. So eventually they talked him into it, and it's like you see what happens when there is no Jedi in Outlaws. I love Outlaws. Actually, I replayed Outlaws over the Christmas break because I was early on. I was a little disappointed by that Star Wars mod, and I replayed it to remember what it looks like to really be in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
And you are at a disadvantage if you are not your main character is not holding a lightsaber
Yeah, of
in
course.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like it's
Just
really that simple.
automatically lower
Maybe it's
interest.
not fair, but it's true.
Yeah.
And they knew to fight for that, and then we have and now we have this great soon-to-be trilogy because of that, because of him. So, yeah, like and like again, the further into the history of video games you get, early on you got tons of people that changed the world in that regard. It becomes harder and harder as you kind of move into the 21st century, but Vince was 100% one of them.
Yeah. So there you go. There's our eulogy for Vince Zampella. Our heartfelt condolences to his family.
I am
friends,
very
colleagues.
sad. I will never see him again.
Yeah, me too.
That is because I know E3 and all it doesn't happen all that much anymore. But it is the fact that I will never see Vince again is a sad thing.
I looked forward to seeing him. Yep, me too.
did.
All right. Well,
when I would think about how I don't miss E3, but I miss Pactor's E3 party.
Yeah.
He was definitely one of the people I would think about.
He's a highlight. When I went to the party, I'm like, I'm going to see Vince.
Yeah, I was always happy to see Vince.
Me too. All right, that's it for GameFace 465. But of course, as always, there is one thing left to do. All right, party people, it's time for Name That Game Tune, brought to you by the awesome people at Soundwizardry.com, the absolute wizards in audio. It doesn't matter whether you're working on a game or a TV show or a podcast or whatever. If you're working on anything with audio, go to Soundwizardry.com, hire them. They will make your project better, I promise you. No matter how good you think your audio people are that you're working with right now, they're not as good as Soundwizardry. Hit them up, go to soundwizardry.com, get them working on your project. They will make it better. And they're so awesome that we get to play this incredible game called Name That Game Tune, where I play 5 audio samples from a video game, and you try to guess the name of the game before this expert right here, and he is a freaking expert. We used to have a bunch of rules for Name That Game Tune, but they're all gone now. We've changed everything for 2026. Everybody can play every week. We're going to create a leaderboard where as people keep winning, they will go up the leaderboard. We're going to figure out who the true champion of Name That Game Tune is in 2026. So all the stuff we said before about if you don't play PC games, don't play. If you've won already, don't play. That's all out the window. Everybody can play every week going forward. And as time goes on, before we play, I will pop up the leaderboard, show you guys who have won the most times, and kind of build a little bit of a rivalry here as you guys try to become the champion of Name That Game Tune. Matt, grab yourself your headphones there. Let me get everything set up. Let me get the Mortis up here. YouTube crew, thank you as always. You might want to stick around, though, because after Name That Game Tune, we're going to take the stream down. The stream's going to stay up, but we're going to go down for like 5 minutes and then set up for our SIFTD Video Game Fantasy League draft. We may not even be down for 5 minutes. It should just be a couple minutes. So YouTubers, if you want to stick around for that, that would be awesome. But if you want to play Name That Game Tune, you need to jump over to twitch.tv/SIFTDgames. Okay, let me get the soundboard pulled up here and ready to rock. All right, I think we're ready to go. You ready to play Name That Game Tune?
Body Harvest.
No. I'll tell you right now, no. Actually, let me turn up the audio on your headphones first so you can hear everything. And we're ready to rock. All right. Here comes Name That Game Tune. The first one for 2026 in 3, 2, 1. I'll play it one more time.
Breakout.
Not Breakout. Not Space Invaders. Not Metroid 1. Not Nier Automata. Not Asteroids.
Arkanoid.
Not Arkanoid. Ghostbusters, no. A Boy and His Blob, no. Return of Samus, no. Arc Raiders, no. Dig Dug, no. Pong, no. Lots of guesses. Back to the Future NES, no. Bomb Jack, no. Any other guesses on that first one? Who's going to be the first person on the leaderboard for Name That Game Tune in 2026? Defender, no. Yar's Revenge, no. Although that's a really good guess. That I can absolutely see where somebody thought that was Yar's Revenge. Good call there, Too Quick Capri. E.T., no. Jetpack, no. That was a good guess. Too quick. Seriously. Any other guesses? Missile Command, no. Solar Jetman, no. Any last guesses before we go to the second one? Going once. Going twice. Okay. Here's the second sample in 3, 2, 1. Does that tune ring a bell? Dig Dug. Somebody already guessed that one, Mitchell, but no. But that's a good guess, actually. Alleycast. Oh, we have a winner. It is Corey Film. It was Battletoads. Congratulations. That didn't take long. And let me play the last 3 samples for you guys, just so you know where to get. There's the third one. Here's the fourth one. Another long one. And here's the fifth one, which is basically the opening theme. Congratulations. Who was that again? Scroll up real quick here. Corey something? Corey Film. Congratulations, Corey Film. You are the first person on the leaderboard for Name That Game Tune for 2026. Draylock says was about to guess Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the Game Boy. Yep. Swanland said Cobra Triangle. Unfortunately, that was not it. All right,
Yeah,
people.
I did not play that game enough to know that.
Yeah, but Battletoads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of hated Battletoads.
You can't play it. Well, it was really hard.
It's too hard.
So a lot of people bounced off of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, for sure.
My friend rented it, and like we played it for like 2 nights, and we didn't get past this. Like,
The second board.
It was the when you're dropping down on the rope, and
Yeah.
like have to like jump kick everything. Like we couldn't get past that part.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, that's going to do it for GameFace episode 465. Again, don't forget, we're going to stop down here for a couple minutes and come right back up on the stream with our SIFTD Video Game Fantasy League draft for 2026. So make sure you stick around. Big thanks to everybody who showed up live today. After last week's episode, I wouldn't blame you for not showing up live today. We had a great crew both on YouTube and on Twitch. Thank you guys. You make the show better every single week. If you like what we're doing, head to patreon.com/SIFTD for $5 a month. You get all our content early. If you just want to give us money, you don't want to get involved or wrapped up in any kind of a subscription system, go to donate.sifted.net. You can give us any amount of money there you want in any country on like 100 different credit cards. That would be awesome. And if you don't have any money, just help us out with Twitch Prime. You hear us talking about it in the live show all the time. If you're watching on YouTube, please go down below and learn how to do that. Again, I mentioned this in the early part of the show, but we literally just had our lowest payout for Twitch Prime, maybe ever. I don't know what happened. Maybe because we were gone for the first couple weeks, or I don't know. But man, the amount was brutal. So if you could help us out with that, we'd really appreciate it. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, go down below. Everybody else, I think, probably already knows how to do that. Next week's episode. Is Highguard coming out, Matt?
Who cares?
Seriously, what is up with that game?
Apparently not the developers.
So what the hell?
I don't know.
I don't either, man. 2XKO.
At one point, I actually double checked that like somebody had made a mistake and it wasn't coming out January next year.
Yeah. It's supposed to come out in like on the 26th, I think.
Yeah, 26th.
What the hell? Anyway,
we'll see.
We'll see. Also, we found out this week that they actually did not pay for that end slot at the Game Awards.
Yeah,
they just gave it to them.
Yeah, they paid to put it in the show.
Right, but they didn't pay
Jeff
extra.
decided where to put it, and it's like, whoops. Like what? And the crazy thing is, one, like that's what you chose as your big finale. Okay,
Yeah.
and also like this game probably would have like fizzled and faded and died without anyone noticing, but now it's going to fizzle and die with millions of eyes on it. So, whoops.
That's true. Okay, so don't forget, we're going to break down here for just a couple of minutes. We'll be right back with our fantasy draft. But thanks, guys, for showing up. GameFace is up and out.